All right, Shalom Israel.
Shalom.
Welcome back to Shabbat Shalom. We want to say shout out to all our brothers and sisters out there in isbhpk, Houston, Virginia, Norfolk, brothers out there in Cabo Cabo in Guatemala, Amiatazan in London. We got a lot of brothers and sisters out there that's watching overseas. We got, we don't know who you are, but we appreciate for those that view us and watch us, and we want to wish you a Shabbat Shalom to all our family out there, and a peaceful Sabbath, and Shalom to everybody in class that actually get a chance to watch us in class. And we don't mind questions. We love questions. If you have a question, I know topics like these today, we can't rush it. We got to just take our time. Because they're information filled, and sometimes they require a lot of breakdown, both historically, prophetically, and also just understanding. Just getting the understanding of it. So we can't rush it. War's out today, but he'll be back in action. So we're gonna step in and handle the Shabbat class. So welcome, and hopefully we can edify the body of Christ, and that's our number one goal as always. All right. So I know last week we went into showing. One thing that stood out last week was the beginning of the downfall and the stripping away of the northern kingdom of Israel, and how the Most High was pretty much fed up with the northern kingdom, and he was losing patience, and he already had a determination for the downfall of the northern kingdom of Israel. Anything I'm missing before we get started?
That's perfect, bro.
Okay.
We're gonna get this whole reading and the prayers going.
Passover, we got the second Passover, May 14th. For all those that registered, please join. I know the slots are pretty much almost filled. The venue is not that large, so hopefully if you can get in there, cool. We get a chance to fellowship, rap, eat, and celebrate our exodus out of Egypt, just like we're going to celebrate our exodus out of America. But other than that, just kind of touching back from last week, we're going to say our prayers also the same. But just touching back, rehashing last week, just the Most High was getting fed up with the northern kingdom. He was pretty much losing patience, losing just mercy and grace, because the northern kingdom, out of all the kings of the north, none of the northern kingdom kings seemed to want to stick to the scriptures. Jeroboam the first introduced that idolatry, and Israel just took it to a whole nother level, and it just got progressively worse through every single kingdom.
And it shows how hard it is when you have a habit or an issue,
right?
How that issue is passed down as a generational issue. So the children that come after us, if we don't maintain or fix or curtail or perfect ourselves, people are more likely to tap into weakness than to tap into strength. That's what the real, this whole Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom saga shows. It just shows some people pick strength, some people pick weakness, but the Most High is measuring us based on the examples we were given. If you read about, it always mentions how Israel did not cleave to, or if they did cleave to, the practices of David. So right. David was the standard for long periods of time. Before David, it was...
Matter of fact, we're going to get that too, that BKC. It says that too. Let me grab one book. Keep going.
And it also goes into, previous to David, it goes into how Moses was faithful in all the Most High's house. How Moses was faithful in all the Most High's house, meaning the house of Israel. He was faithful in the house of Israel. How is he faithful? He kept the laws, statutes, commandments, and he had the proper spiritual perspective and the meekness to deal with the rest of his nation. So Israel was always measured to who? Israel was measured to Moses. Moses was the measuring post for the rest of the nation. But when David came in, David replaced that standard as the new standard that Israel should be measured to. So in our life, who are you supposed to be measured to?
Yahweh.
Well, of course Christ, because Christ is the last measuring post. But I'm saying in a basic, everyday level, when you have your parents, right? When you have your elders, when you have people that are doing good works, the people around you. Listen, even brothers around me that are doing better than me at certain things. I had to measure and compare myself. Am I working at the capacity of this my brother?
Your superior elders.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think about this. I mean, elders, of course, we get the elder thing. We harp on that every day. But I'm saying just the strongest examples around you.
Okay.
The best example of eating.
I got you.
The best example of punctuality. The best example of study ethic. These are the physical examples the Most High gave us to compare ourselves to, not out of the spirit of envy or emulation, but positive patterning. Let me pattern myself after this man's positive traits. If this man's been working for 20 years, why is he so skillful in his work for 20 years? This brother's always on time and never late. What does he do to not to be never late? If this brother here is a great student of the book, what enthusiasms and passions does he practice to maintain his enthusiasm for the book in comparison to my production?
A verse on that.
So you pull a verse on that. Pull your verse.
Hebrews 13:7.
You have it. But we're looking at the overall. How does the Most High give Israel? He gave Israel a book, and He gave us physical examples. So now you're seeing the story of Israel circulate around this idea. We're orbiting around the idea of you have a physical example. We're orbiting around the idea you have the Tanakh, you have the Torah, you have books that are being written. You have books that have already been written. And before that, in Moses, what did Moses have to compare himself to? Didn't he have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Didn't he have the story of Sodom and Gomorrah?
He had his examples too.
He had the patriarchs before his time. So Israel has the comfort. We have the comfort and really the luxury of being able to go back into our past. Because the things written aforetime written for our what?
Learning.
Written for our learning. You have your scripture, sir?
Saying the Most High never left us hanging.
Let
me read that. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 7. It reads, remember them which have the rule over you, who have spoken unto you the word of the Most High.
So people speak the word of the Most High in two manners. They actually will teach you the scriptures and read the words to you. And other men will speak the words of the Most High by their actions. Because actions speak louder than what?
Words.
Actions speak louder than words. For sisters that have families and children, whoever's the best sister at sewing, whoever's the best sister at rearing children, whoever's the better sister at the skill of certain meals and certain cooking, whoever's the better sister at pleasing her husband, should not that be our Moses? Should not that be our David? Right? But it works in the exact opposite form also. Because there are bad examples also. And guess what? You only have two modes. Higher self, lower self. Fleshly self, spiritual self. Righteous self, wicked self. Right? If you look at Jeroboam was a constant thorn, or he was really a stumbling block.
Right. Jeroboam the first and Jeroboam the second.
They were stumbling blocks for our nation because that was the example we coagulated and connected to.
Right. And let's send his prayers up, and then we'll continue this point. Let's go ahead and send our prayers up. Let's go ahead and get, let's go ahead and get it started.
Yeah.
Just for us, Amaja, we'll point you word Yerushalayim. Let's rather face the east, Jerusalem. Let's go ahead and get this started with the prayer first, and then we'll go into the class, because there is a lot in what Dawiyat is bringing out, and it's going to bring it out in the class. But I want to just go ahead and get this going first. All right. Barakatah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Ahawa'ah. Natalanawa. Awar. Zayawam. The water. Aman.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the light this day. Thanks, so be it.
All right. Barakatah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Barakatah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
Natalanawa. Rayach. Nayachacha. The water. Aman.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us sweet savor. Thank you, so be it.
All right, let's go ahead and light that incense up.
Okay, incense getting lit up, yes sir. It's going right now. It's always wet. This is good. This should be better right here. That's two. Third time's the charm. Three for understanding that.
Let me see.
It's not lighting up. Well, yeah, the candle may be better.
Let me see that other right. This one.
If you
let's dip in here.
Yeah, if you have it next to the fire, it'll ignite the lighter again.
There you go. How do you do that? Just- There you go. Alright, perfect. Water, bro. Alright.
All right, Shalom family online also.
Shalom, everybody.
All right. So we got that going. We blow the horn.
Sure.
All right. Amajum, upon your Shalom.
Stand and face Jerusalem.
Bracket the Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
Bracket the Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
Hahawa'ah.
Hahawa'ah.
Latalanawa.
Latalanawa.
HaShabbath.
HaShabbath.
Bashalom.
Bashalom.
The water.
The water.
Aman.
Aman.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the Sabbath in peace. Thank you, so be it.
All right. Psalms 121. Ainasha.
Ainasha.
Hayanyamya.
Hayanyamya.
Al. Aharyam.
Aharyam.
Ma'ayah.
Ma'ayah.
Yabu'ah.
Yabu'ah.
Isaiah.
Isaiah.
Yabu'ah.
Yabu'ah.
Ma. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Sha'asha. Shemayim. Wa'aratazah.
Wa'aratazah.
La'ah. Yanathan. Lamawat. Regalia. Yala'ah. Nawam. Sheshamayah. Hana. Yala'ah. Nawam. Wala'ah. Yashan. Sheshawamar. Yasha'alah. Yahweh. Shemaria. Yahweh. Tazalia. Al. Yanyamya. Hashamash. Yala'ah. Hakayah. Bayawam. Wala'ah. Halabana. Walayala. Yahweh. Yashamaria. Bakol. Rai. Yashamar. Napasha. Yahweh. Yashamar. Walakia. Wa'aya. Wa'aita. Wa'ai. Awalam.
Aman. Psalms 121. I will lift up my eyes into the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Amen.
Aman.
All right, Israelite Credo. Shema Yasha'al. Yahweh. Walahayana. Yahweh. Achad. Shema Yasha'al. Yahweh. Walahayana. Yahweh. Achad. Shema Yasha'al. Yahweh. Walahayana. Yahweh. Achad.
Deuteronomy 6:4. It says, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one Lord.
All right. Lord's Prayer. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Abanaw. Bashemayim. Wadash. Hayah. Shamkal. Yahweh. Malak with Kal. Taba'ah. Batazaka. Hayah. Aisha. Ba'aratazah. Kawa. Hayah. Bashemayim. Tananaw. Wachom. Kol. Yawam. Wasalachanaw. Wathnaw. Wasalachanaw. Wathinaw. Wala'ah. Tabianaw. Say one. Bo. Shana. Mayan. Rai. Hayah. Akad. Malakwa. Waha'ala. Watapara. Lai Walamyu. Come on.
After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Okay, the whole thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Amen.
All right, 10 Commandments. La'a Yahweh. Lacha. Alahayim. Akarium. Al. Panya.
Thou shalt have no other powers before me.
La'a. Ta'ayna. Lacha. Taso. Wala'a. Ta'ay badam.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, nor serve them.
Number 3. La'a. Talaquaka. Sham. Yahweh. Bashawa.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy power in vain.
Number 4. Zakar. Hayawam. Hashabbath. Laquadashwa.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Number 5. Chabad. Abaka. Ya'amaka.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
Number 6. La'a. Daratazak.
Thou shalt not kill, murder.
Number 7. La'a. Thana'a.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Number 8. La'a. Thagana.
Thou shalt not steal.
Number 9. La'a. Ta'ayna.
Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Number 10. La'a. Thakamad. Ko. Hashara. Lara'aika.
Thou shalt not covet anything which is thy neighbor's.
Right. Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Hahawa'ah. Hatha.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us the law.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Hahawa'ah.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the light to see.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the ram horn to call the people.
All right. Yeshabi.
So reading about the overall dynamic, once again the Most High gave Israel a Moses, he gave Israel David, he gave Israel positive examples to negate the excuse that you didn't give me anybody to show me how to live my life.
Right.
To negate the excuse, you didn't give me anyone to show me how to live my life. On the contrary, where good is, the Bible says where good is, evil is what?
Always present.
Evil is always present. And the Bible says what? It says, choose ye this day what?
Whom you will serve.
Or death, whom you will serve. Now that was stated, but it was also stated with Joshua. Joshua said the same thing. He said, if you will serve the gods before the flood. So their standard was the idolatry previous to the flood, or the living power. Right? Then with Moses' time, Peter's like, listen, you going to serve the Most High or not? You going to keep these commandments or not? Choose life or death. This theme of life or death in the choice dynamic is all throughout the scriptures. It is in our current generation also. And guess what? In this current generation, the Most High has given us examples. Who are examples? The Bible. Who are examples? Moses. Who are examples? David. Who is our example? Christ. And who are our day-to-day examples? The people around us that are keeping the law, statutes, commandments, and their positive what? Their positive attributes. Their positive attributes. Their positive attributes and their spiritual routines that are beneficial to the people around them. So now we're seeing, going to history, going in the chronology of the Bible, we're looking at Israel as a nation. You're seeing the power of example. How it declines and destroys a nation, how it deteriorates a nation, and then how it builds a nation. But it all comes from the idea of what? Choice.
Choice.
All right? So we're doing that central theme right now.
All right. So let's go ahead and get a first reader up, Karaya Amaju. Let's go and salute you in. All right.
Karaya, SHABBATH, Banashar, Banyashala.
Correct. SHABBATH, Banashar, Banyashala, Amadu. Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat.
Got your baton? Shabi? All right. Let's start off with, we're going to start off with kind of where we left off last week. I know last week we were talking about the diminishing of the northern kingdom of Israel and the Most High still being patient with Judah and the southern kingdom. And but there were still some issues with Judah as well, you know. But the Most High was pretty much giving, saying his last rites to Israel before they were completely overthrown. And we saw also that we saw an earlier invasion of the Assyrians starting to prematurely conquer the northern kingdoms, particularly Gad, Reuben, Manasseh, and Naphtali up north on the northern side of Israel. And they were already starting to invade and then pull people. I think that was Tiglath-Pileser that was starting to, because I think historically we used to say that, I think Shalmaneser was the first king to do that. But actually, you read about Tiglath-Pileser starting to invade the north and pulling Israel out of Israel and being, you know, to this exodus to Assyria.
Yeah.
So we saw the beginning of that last week. And so now we're going to continue on that same vein, but kind of go into more detail independently about the northern kings of the kingdom of Israel, and then also the southern king. We're going to switch back to the south as well, because at this time you still had Uzziah, and I stand corrected too. I said Uzziah reigned for 54 years last week. I stand corrected. That was 52 years. All right, so he reigned 52 years. I was off by 2 years. Just wanted to make that adjustment. All right. So we're gonna pick up in 2 Chronicles chapter 26, and we're going to start at verse 21.
Second Chronicles chapter 26 and verse 21.
So I had a question.
Yes, sir.
What's the name of the class?
It's called the beginning of the northern tribes' captivity. The beginning of the northern tribes' captivity.
And it wasn't an overnight situation.
The Most High had been merciful for a very long time to the north. I mean, and from Jeroboam the first. When you look at, I don't know the king's numbers. Maybe I could pull it up. It was like kings. The northern kingdom had like 22 kings, and then the south had like 15 to 16 kings. I forgot what the number was. But when you look at how the Most High had constantly kept replacing the northern kingdom kings, and they were being overthrown by assassination, and coups were set up to overthrow the kings. Their kingdoms really didn't last long. But when you look at the theme behind the people, they constantly kept going back to their idols, and they constantly kept setting up high places. It was never this one and done with the northern kingdom of Israel. Like, okay, I made my mistakes. We serve idols. We sacrifice to idol gods. And then we're going to put away our sins. It was one repetitious king after another, still instituting those idolatrous practices. And we're gonna bring that in also in a second. I mean, if you can count them.
It shows all the kings right here.
Yeah.
Jeroboam, Nadab, Baasha, Elam.
Yeah, all the way down.
Yeah, all the way down to.
The short reigns were becoming kind of common, right?
Yeah.
Like
And
30 days here.
Yeah, down to Hoshea before they were actually carried away. So let's go ahead and start reading right there. Let's start 2 Chronicles chapter 26, and let's start at verse 21. We're going to get into it a little bit.
Come. 2 Chronicles chapter 26 and verse
And
21.
this is really, I think this is really applicable because, you know, our people are famous for saying we was kings and queens.
Yeah.
We were famous for saying we was kings and queens. When Israel says we were kings and queens, they used to talk about Africa, but before Africa, where we were at, we were in Israel.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So we were in Israel, and this is the time period of the kings and queens. We were kings and queens, but we were what? following a weak example.
Yep. Yep. So, you know, to use that term, just because you're a king or queen, what good is it if there's no honor behind it?
Okay.
What good is being a leader if you don't have a stainless reputation? You know, what good is being a king, but your image and your attributes are known to be defiled, and people have attached this negative connotation to your name. What good is it to go down historically as being an unjust person? So what makes to be a king is irrelevant if the reputation is not stainless, if you don't have a blameless reputation. And that's what we're finding out here. Go ahead.
Time. 2 Chronicles chapter 26 and verse 21. And Uzziah, the king, was a leper unto the day of his death.
So now when you start off in the beginning, you read about the advantages that Uzziah had brought to the nation, to the southern kingdom. And you look at his exploits, you look at his weaponry, you look at his engines that he created, the stratagems, the towers that he fortified, the walls that he fortified,
Gardens and pools.
pools. You look at the structures that he had set up, and the pools. He beautified Israel or the southern kingdom, but that pride got to him. You know, the pride of look at me, look at what I'm doing, look at what I'm building. You know, that engineering aspect that he had, he was very industrious. But when you look at that, what it built, it inflated in him was this prideful manner of, look what I did, now I become untouchable. Now I become uncheckable. Now I become above the law because look at all the good that I've done. So, you know, all that did was inflate his pride. And that was the beginning of the end. Immediately, the Most High struck him with leprosy in the forehead. Why the forehead? Because it was the ideas that he was conjuring up, that he could go above the law and sacrifice incense that was only dedicated to the priest. He was trying to do the service of the priest and still abstain from the 80 priests that was telling him, that's not your position. That's not your job. That's not your duty to, let's put some incense on there. That's not your duty to burn that incense as a king. That's not your duty. But he went above and beyond. Not only said, get out of my way, but he threatened them to do him harm. And so at the minute he was doing it, at that moment was the moment that the Most High decided to institute that judgment. And that leprosy first appeared on the forehead just as a reflection of, that was the origin of the pride of where it came from. Since it came from the mind, that's where that leprosy first appeared, was on his mind. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, he was ceremonially unclean. He couldn't be in the temple. So he couldn't be in the sanctuary. So he had to participate in quarantine. You know, this is biblical quarantine, bro. This man had to be set outside the city and inhabit this area that was away from everybody. Ritually, he's unclean, bro. So you read about a stay-at-home order that the Most High had to put on him. So read that again.
Come. 2 Chronicles chapter 26 and verse 21. And Uzziah, the king, was a leper unto the day of his death, and dwelt in a several house.
And he dwelt in a what?
A several house. Well,
when you got to dwell in a separate house, you're on quarantine, bro. You can't be with the regular population because you're polluted. and that pollution and that defilement lasted until he died. That was he had that judgment on him till death. Yes, sir.
I wanted to add that several, we thinking as many or multitude, but this several is talking about severing.
Separate.
Yeah.
Like to separate.
To sever. Mm-hmm.
Sever.
And that's what defilement does. Being defiled, you always read the Most High's judgment. The judgment initially is he will be cut off from what? His people. So when we get corrupted and we connect to things that contaminate our spirit, what do those contaminants do over time?
They spread to other people.
Yes, and they separate us from the flock.
Yep. Read on.
Khan says, being a leper, for he was cut off from the house of the Most High.
So he couldn't come back to the king's house. Read on.
And Jotham, his son, was over the king's house.
He couldn't come back in the king's house. He couldn't come back in the sanctuary. Go ahead.
Judging the people of the land.
So there was this co-regency, this co-rulership with his son Jotham. Read on.
Now the rest of the acts of Uzziah, first and last, did Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, write. So Uzziah slept with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the land of the burial, which belonged to the kings.
So even his burial, he couldn't be buried with the rest of the kings, man. They weren't going to put his polluted body with the leprosy, even with the in the chamber with the burial of the kings, man. He had to go down separate before he died, and he had to go isolated even in his death. He had to be buried by himself. Now, to show that you couldn't even be put in the same cemetery, you couldn't be put in the same sepulcher, you couldn't be put in the same catacomb that your people are in. It just shows you how you separated yourself from the Most High.
It's a dishonorable death.
That's a dishonorable death. You know, you ain't getting no 21 gun salute. You're not going. You're not getting the lowering of the flag, man. Get this guy in a pine box and put him over there with the regular folks.
It's all about our business.
He's not getting the honorable. You're not getting the salutes like that. You're not getting the notoriety of going down honorable where everybody show up. Even a cop when slain, it gets a honorable, ceremony. He gets all the officers come out. Bro, you a king of Israel, and the Most High got to show you that He's against you, to where you gotta live by yourself and then die by yourself and then be buried by yourself.
He was very offended, obviously.
Now, obviously, his pride is what offended the Most High, because but we underestimate what that means for the Most High to isolate you like that, and to put you aside and to show that how angry He is with you. You got to really anger the Most High to really put you out like that, both in life and in death. You know what I'm saying? It just shows you he took the Most High for granted, and he was smelling himself. So let's read on.
It says, so Uzziah slept with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the land of the burial, which belonged to the kings. For they said, he is a leper.
He is a what?
He is a leper.
He's a leper, bro. What does that mean?
He's contaminated.
He's contaminated, man. We'll put him close, but we ain't putting him in the same area.
Not that close.
Yeah. We can't contaminate all the rest of the graves, man.
Right.
Go ahead.
And Jotham, his son, reigned in his stead.
So that's where we're picking up at. We're picking up in 2 Chronicles, where Uzziah has run his course, regardless of all the great works that he did. It's about that time that the Most High bring in somebody else that gives Israel a fresh start, or the southern tribe a fresh start of leadership, because of the wickedness that Uzziah fell to, over time. From just being successful for a long time can make you arrogant, and it can inflate your pride. It can make you cocky, and we see what the Most High's judgment is for that. All right. So let's start at 2 Chronicles chapter 27, and we're going to start at verse 1. Let's pick that up.
2 Chronicles chapter 27 and verse 1.
We're going to read all of 27, and then we're going to jump to the Josephus. So if you don't have a Josephus, go ahead and grab a Josephus real quick if you don't have one. Read.
Jotham was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was also Jerushah, the daughter of Zadok. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Most High.
He said what?
And he did that which was right in the sight of the Most High.
Rare statement.
Yep.
Of the kings.
Yep. It's not that many that do that. Go ahead.
According to all that his father Uzziah did.
So he started off like his father. His father Uzziah started off right. So he started off right. So a lot of the things that he possessed, the good nature, his engineering, his prodigy, prodigious mind to build, this was something that his father had. So naturally he obtained those gifts that his father possessed.
A lot of young men have their father's
work ethic. That work ethic is strong. Think critical thinking, analysis, analyzing, fixing things. Some do, some don't. But It just shows you that he fell in line with his father. Read on.
Howbeit, he entered not into the temple of the Most High, and the people did yet corruptly.
And so now his father, his father did what? What mistake did his father make? We mentioned it earlier. What mistake did Uzziah make? What caused him to get the leprosy?
His pride.
What did he do in his pride?
He thought he put himself above the law.
Yes. Yes, sir.
I was gonna say he burnt incense
He burnt incense.
for the Levites to perform.
Exactly. That was the Levites' duty. So did Jotham do that? Did duplicate that?
No.
No. Jotham didn't duplicate that. And this is what you always want to do. You always want to be a better example than the people that laid down their examples in front of you. You always want to be the best of your people. You always want to I don't want to say one up your father, not in that sense. But you always want to your fathers want you to be better than they were.
Learn from their mistakes.
They want you to learn from their mistakes. And that should be everyone's goal. You shouldn't want to duplicate the mistakes of your fathers. You should want to say, okay, I watched my father do this, and this was a big mistake. I watched my father do this, and I saw his downfall. I saw how his career went downhill. I saw how his marriage went downhill. I saw how his activity, his social status went downhill.
Or his health went downhill.
His health went downhill. You want to be a step above your fathers. And to just show that a little bit more, let's go to Zechariah chapter 1, verse 4.
Go. Zechariah chapter 4 and verse 1.
1 verse
1
4.
verse 4.
Or 1 verse 4 comes.
Mm-hmm.
Zechariah chapter 1 and verse 4. Be ye not as your fathers.
What does it say?
Be ye not as your fathers.
What does Zechariah 1 and 4 say?
Be ye not as your fathers.
Don't be like your fathers. In the good or in what?
In the bad.
In the bad, in the mistakes that they make. Don't be like your fathers. Don't duplicate the mistakes of your father. Every generation should be learning from their parents. And that generation should have learned from their foreparents. And that generation should have learned from their foreparents. So the generation should be getting better, not worse.
Better and better. As they
Yes,
go.
every generation should be getting better because they have more examples to learn from. They have more examples to pull from. So you don't want to be like your fathers. You want to be better than your fathers.
Mm-hmm.
Read on.
God. Unto whom the former prophets have cried, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, turn ye now from your evil ways.
So the prophets, all the prophets have been begging all the kings, the prophets have been begging all the people to be better than their foreparents. Be better than that previous generation that was your uncles, your aunties. You know, you saw a lot of us that may have had a chance to really be groomed by that elder generation. Mm-hmm. You had a chance to be groomed and raised around your uncles and your aunts and your cousins and your grandparents and your great grandparents and your grand uncles and grand aunties and your great uncles and great aunties. You know, your grandma's brothers and sisters. You know, you got a chance to see them, and you got to see examples. Now, yeah, I brought it out earlier. Mm-hmm. You got to see individuals in their height. I know for me, you know, I saw family members that were stable. I had cousins that were stable. I had cousins that were doing pretty well off. You know, some upper to middle class doing well, and I saw their habits. I saw both parents getting along. I saw both parents going to work. I saw both parents going to church, and I saw and it reflected in the child. You know, you saw the living condition was better. The home stability was better. They ate better. You know, the house wasn't broken down. But then I had other uncles and cousins that you saw the parents do drugs. Then you also saw them feed themselves with negative habits. Then you saw the poverty. Then you saw the project living. Then you saw the gang violence. Or then you saw the malnutrition. Or then you saw them with the criminal activity, stealing, robbing, ganking, whatever you want to call it, sneaking and geeking, whatever you want to call it. Then you saw them getting into trouble, having an arrest record. Now, when you look at the comparison, some of the children was following their parents, and they were groomed in a good environment. Some parents made bad decisions, and the children was, fell victim to circumstance or their environment. Sometimes you had, because they watched the family fight. They watched mom storm out the house. They watched dad storm out the house, don't come back. They watched a multitude of 15 stepdads or 15 stepmoms. So that plays a role in that grooming of those children. But when you look at what the Most High wants, He wants that generation that comes after to be better than that previous generation that existed. And that's what He wants. All right? To prove that even more, St. John chapter 6, verse 58. Read that.
All right. St. John chapter 6 and verse 58.
Read that.
Come. It says, "This is that bread which came down from heaven, not as your father did eat manna and are dead."
Christ said, the mistakes that our family made is the ones that made the biggest mistakes, they fail to honor the Most High. If you're doing an analysis, some reap the benefits of what the Most High had to offer, which is something that's given to us as being the children of Israel. But what did they do with those benefits? Nothing. They exploited those benefits, and they still crawled upon their lust and pursued after their lust. Because the Most High gave the children of Israel manna. But He said some of our fathers got manna and are what?
It says, "Not as your fathers did eat manna and are dead."
So a lot of our forefathers reaped the benefits of having the Most High as a power. But did they access the Most High? Did they stay connected to the Heavenly Father? And that's why they did. Even though they tasted the good of what the Most... Even if you did grow up in a bad situation, you still had an opportunity to lock into the Father.
And I was still spiritually
spared.
dead.
If I locked into the Most High.
Well, no, if I lock into the Most High, I'm spiritually spared.
Right.
But if I don't lock into the Most High, I can eat the manna of the Most High, I can eat the benefits, the scriptures, the class, the wisdom, the counsel, but still be spiritually dead. And why is that? Because I make the choice to follow or not. The right thing or the wrong thing.
Yep. Read on.
Come. It says, "He that eateth of this bread shall live forever."
But Christ is saying, listen, if those generations would have followed me, they would have what?
Live forever.
They would have lived forever. Their examples would still be around. Their positive examples would still be around. A lot of us catch hell because those examples died off. Because they broke away and separated themselves from the Most High. Just like you see as a result of the kings, both of the southern tribe and the northern kingdom. Both of those kings, their actions played a major role in the defilement of the population, of the people. All right. Same thing. One more on this verse. Let's go to Acts chapter 7. Let's read Acts chapter 7, verse 51. One more on this verse. We're in Acts chapter 7, verse 51.
Come. Acts chapter 7 and verse 51.
Read that.
Come. "Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears."
They said, so this is Stephen right before he gets martyred. This is Stephen right before he gets put to death, being the first martyr in the scriptures. So in the New Testament, when you look at Stephen, he's still checking the Pharisees. He's calling them what?
Stiff-necked and uncircumcised.
He said, you're stiff-necked and uncircumcised, meaning what?
You're not fully dedicated. You're doing it for show. You're doing it for yourself.
You're rebellious. You don't follow. You hard-headed. You don't submit. And you're uncircumcised, meaning what? Being that your heart is uncircumcised, you don't let nobody correct your mind.
Can't change.
That foreskin is supposed to be a cutting of that circumcision is supposed to be that of the heart. Meaning all the polluted excess things about me is supposed to be removed. But when my mind is uncircumcised, that means I'm still in my flesh. I still entertain my thoughts. I'm still in my pride. Nobody can tell me nothing. You can't correct me. I do what I want to do. This is my show. You can't tell me nothing.
Right.
And this is what Stephen is coming at these Pharisees about. Read on.
Come. Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears.
He said, in heart and mind, you don't let nobody alter your mind. You don't let nobody fix your thought process. You don't let nobody challenge your mind, the way you look at things and your perception.
Hard-headed.
You're hard-headed. He said, but also in what?
Ears.
In ears. Because you don't what?
You don't listen.
Because you don't listen.
You hear.
But
You don't
listen.
take heed to the words that are being told
One
to
ear
you.
and out the other.
To heed, I'm glad you said that. To heed means to listen and follow.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just to listen.
There's a difference.
There's a difference. The word take heed means to listen and follow. That means you don't just hear what people are telling you, you follow after what they tell you.
And we say, I heard you.
I heard you.
We don't say, I heard you.
I hear you.
I hear you.
I heard you, I hear you.
I heard you, I hear you, but I didn't heed you.
Right. I heard what you said.
Yeah, I know what you said. Con.
Right.
New York City, we do that. Heard you.
Hearken like the scripture says.
Yep. Read on.
Come. Ye do always resist the Holy
What does
Spirit.
it
It says, you do what?
Always resist the Holy Spirit.
So can the Most High put His Spirit into you? Why not?
Because you're not willing to receive it.
'Cause
you shut down.
Exactly. You hear, but you don't follow. And if you don't follow, that means you don't agree.
That's what it means.
That's what it means.
That's true.
You don't agree.
That's true.
You have your own thoughts, your own way of doing things, and nobody can tell you nothing. And you don't agree with what you're being shown. You're not in agreement. And he says, because of this is why the Holy Spirit won't work with you. And this is why the Holy Spirit didn't work with a lot of our generations. Well, that's why we had some uncles and aunties, we had some family members that were doing well. Poor or not, they locked into the Most High. So even though they might have been struggling financially, spiritually they were well off. Spiritually. Then you had some family members that may have been stable financially, but spiritually corrupt. And eventually their houses fell apart. When you analyze our generations, you can see the mistakes that all of our family made. Read on.
Come. It says, as your fathers did.
He said, as who?
Your fathers did.
So where did these errors come from?
Our fathers.
Your parents, man. A lot of times the children adopt the stubbornness of their parents, the foolishness of their parents. I smoked cigarettes, I smoked cools because I saw who smoked cools.
My dad.
My dad smoked. I drank this beer or this liquor or this Canadian Mist trash, whatever it was. I drank this because I watched who drink this.
My mother.
My family.
Family, right?
I watched them do this. I go clubbing because who was always at the club?
My parents.
My parents. It's natural that next generation is going to fall in line, duplicating and doing what the previous generation did. And they'll pick up the pollutions as well.
But it's their choice, though.
It's still a choice.
It's not like they were locked into that and they got their parents fully to blame. You had a choice to go the other direction. If you saw that was wrong, you could have went a different way. But if you decided to go the same way, you can't blame them anymore.
You know, that's why the scripture said, "Be ye not as your fathers."
As your fathers.
Right, because it is a choice. You don't have. Although you could have watched them, you know, sit in front of TV, watch kung fu flicks all day, drinking beer and smoking. But does that mean that has to be your life?
Nah.
Although that was a bad example, that doesn't mean that that's ingrained into you. You can still make a difference. That's what the Most High is urging. They resisted the Holy Spirit. That doesn't mean you have to resist the Holy Spirit.
Con.
Finish that.
It says, as your fathers did, so do ye.
Damn. That's what Stephen said. As your fathers did, so do ye. Go ahead.
Which of the prophets have not your fathers persecuted?
He said, which of the prophets have not your fathers persecuted? Every time the Most High raised up a prophet to steer Israel in the right direction, what did our previous generation do? So
the opposite way.
So let's say if I may have been born in the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
but does that mean that there was nobody in the 70s, in the 80s to steer me in the right direction?
Ah, there was people then too.
No, I might have been born in the 50s and 60s,
Mm-hmm.
but was there anybody there? Does the Most High have anybody there to sustain me and steer me in the right direction.
God.
Can anybody say, well, I was born in the 90s, so my generation was worse? But does the Most High always provide somebody to steer you in the right direction?
God.
Always.
You can't use no excuses. There's no excuse.
He said, I will not leave you comfortless.
God.
I'm not going to put you in a situation that you can't overcome or make a way to escape. Most High always gives us a way to escape. And what is that way of escape? The positive examples that the Most High has instilled around us.
Even in slavery, I should have bought this book, seen it in the library, and it was about hymns that, it was hymns and gospel songs that slaves used to sing. It was a compilation of gospel hymns and songs that the slaves used to sing. And think about a slave's life, where you start off at crack of dawn, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you work until it's dark. And then they may give you Sunday off to go to church.
Right.
But these hymns that they would sing, although their life was hard, they made sure that they stayed attractive. Whether they was in the field, working as field hands, or they was in the house, they were staying connected to the Most High by song. And it's one hymn, the slave master said that he would go to the walls of the cabin, and he would listen. He put his ear on the walls of the cabin, and he would hear the slaves singing to God, and the songs would break him down in tears. This is the slave masters.
Wow.
Because they was crying out to the Most High, even in their poverty, and the damn slave white man couldn't take it. It break him down. Because even in the worst condition, where was their mind at?
Most High.
It was still on the Most High. So there ain't no excuses. But our people, you leave it up to us, we got 1,000 excuses why we can't do right. We got 1,000 excuses why the Holy Spirit can't rest upon us. Read on.
Con.
With no chains, no chains.
And we ain't got no chains and whips.
No chains, no whips.
Yeah.
Con.
We ain't picking cotton until your fingers are busted open.
Right.
There's blood all over the cotton. Read.
Con. Acts chapter 7 and verse 52 reads, which of the prophets have not your fathers persecuted? And they have slain them, which show before of the coming of the just one.
Can I start there? We slay, quote unquote, the people that tell us the right thing, because we end up hating the people that tell us the right thing. The people that tell us the right thing are vehicles of truth. And the scripture says, have I became your enemy because I tell you the truth. In relationships, when a person tells us the truth in relationship, we hate that person. When a person tells us the truth in our childhood, we have an issue with that teacher or that authority figure. When a person tells us the truth about ourselves in our adulthood, we isolate, separate, and distance ourselves. And we start looking for reasons to critique, criticize, and look for dirt to stain that image, that person. Why do we do that? Because obviously we're doing what? We're in the spirit of we're being stiff-necked, like the scripture says. But the issue is, do I have the ability to recognize in myself when I'm in that kind of spirit? To know the information is one thing, but to actually apply in your life is a complete difference. Can you look back in your experience in life, the past couple weeks or years, and when I rejected, like a Stephen, when I martyred a Stephen, the Bible says Israel killed the prophets. If we're Israelites, and the Bible says Israel killed the prophets, then who was killing the prophets?
Pharisees, the people that
We say the Pharisees, the people was doing it too.
People that are hating that truth that's coming out against them, that's testifying against them.
But Israel stoned the prophets too. It wasn't just the Pharisees. Before the Pharisees, the king killed the prophet. They put him in jail. The people want to stone the prophets. He said, most I said, I've given men for you. Multiple people, the nation is Moses. Moses had the best intentions. They wanted to assassinate Moses.
Yep. Stone him. Several times.
We always associate ourselves with the best of the scriptures, but we gotta look at both sides of the coin, bro.
Yep. Read that.
Con. Which of the prophets have not your fathers persecuted? And they have slain them which showed before the coming of the just one, of whom ye have been now the betrayers.
He said, you are the betrayers, man. Who Christ? He said, they've been trying to prepare you to meet the Most High in Christ. They've been trying to prepare your heart for the marriage, to be introduced to Christ, the just one. Read.
And murderers.
He said, but you've been guilty. Read on.
Who have received the law.
He says, you've been given the law. Go ahead.
By the disposition of angels.
He said the mind of Moses was comparable to who?
Angels.
He was like an angel, bro. Moses' intentions, his mind frame, was that equivalent of an angel coming to the children of Israel.
Beautiful.
And you'll put the angels to death.
If you could.
If you could. He's showing you how rebellious and stiff-necked our people are, how much we want to do what we want to do. And so what he's showing is that you want to be better than that previous generation. All Stephen was showing the Pharisees was they're just as guilty as that previous generation. You're just as a murderer as they are. You're just as rebellious as they are. You're just as stiff-necked as they are. The objective is to grow better, bigger, and beyond that previous generation. Not duplicate their actions and their works. All right? Let's read this real quick. We're going to read this out of the Matthew Henry. This is about King Asa, who had the right mindset. Start right there. Oh, you can start right here. The general good.
The general good character of it. Asa did that which was right in the eyes of the Lord, and that is right indeed, which is so in the Most High's eyes. Those are approved whom he commends.
He said those are approved of whom he what?
Commends.
So the Most High commends those. Those are acceptable to him. Read on.
He did as did David his
so it
father.
says King David did as who? As Asa. I'm sorry. Asa did as King David his what?
His father.
Now Asa may have not had the same end as David, but he duplicated the best works as possible. I'll let the commentary speak. Go ahead.
Kept close to the Most High.
He did what?
Kept close to the Most High.
His heart was close to the Most High, just like David his father. Read on.
And to his instituted worship was hearty and zealous for that.
Go ahead.
And he gave him this honorable character, that he was like David.
He said the Most High compared Asa's heart to who?
David.
Like David's. Go ahead.
Though he was not a prophet.
What David was a prophet. Was Asa a prophet?
No.
But he still loved the Most High.
Wow.
So was he exactly like his father?
No.
David? No. But did he still have a heart towards the Lord? Yes. He said he wasn't a prophet. Read on.
Or psalmist.
Or he didn't write the poetry or the songs that David wrote. But because Asa didn't write a lot of psalms, all our psalms that we got come from David, few from Solomon. But when you look at all these psalms, even though Asa didn't write them, did the Most High hold that against him? No. He said, man, you still got a heart towards me like your father. Read on.
If we come up to the graces of those that have gone before us.
What does it say?
If we come up.
It says, if you come up to who?
To the graces of those that have gone before us.
If you could at least come close to the good attributes of the previous generation that came before you. Read on.
It says, it will be our praise with the Most High.
So the Most High will look at us, even though we can't necessarily duplicate those exact same things that the Most High loved and that were precious in the sight of our previous generation. The Most High will still accept us, and we'll still be acceptable if we try to do right by the Most High. We ain't got to be exactly like our foreparents, but if you put a damn good effort and become zealous to pursue a relationship with the Most High, you'll be accepted like your foreparents. Read on.
Though we come short.
It says, though we what?
Come short.
Even though I'm not as great as, I can't fill the shoes of my father. I might not be as great of a man that my father was. But that doesn't mean the Most High will love me no less. That's the point. If I can duplicate my father's good works and attach my heart to the Most High, that doesn't mean the Most High won't love me no less. I don't have to be a spitting image of my father to be accepted by the Most High. If I could at least duplicate some of the good he did and keep my heart attached to the Most High, cool. That's still acceptable. Read.
Though we come short of their gifts, Asa was like David.
So even though Asa he wasn't a psalmist, couldn't write no songs, couldn't do no poetry, he wasn't a prophet, he still was written in history to be like who?
David.
Just like David. David was known as a man who's had a heart towards the Most High. The Most High said he was a man after my own heart. So Asa still was recorded as having that same mind frame. Go ahead.
Though he was neither such a conqueror.
Neither was he. Was he a formidable soldier and warrior like David?
Wow.
David went down historically for killing hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands. So did he know? Was he known for killing like David was?
No.
No. But he still had a heart towards the Most High. Go ahead.
Nor such an author.
But was he a writer like David?
No.
Nope. Read.
For his heart was perfect with the Lord all his days. That is, he was both cordial and constant in his religion.
So what made Asa still good though, even though he couldn't do exactly what his father did?
His connection with the Most High.
He was constant, man. Yes,
You
sir.
said cordial?
Cordial.
How you spell it?
Sorry.
Cordial?
Cordial.
Oh, okay.
Cordial.
Yeah. It said, and constant. Go ahead.
What he did for the Most High, he was sincere in.
He said, even though he wasn't like David, he was still what?
Sincere.
His heart was still sincere. So you don't have to be as advantageous as your parents are if they have good qualities. You can't say, well, I'll never be as good as my father, like Michael Jordan kids. Never be as good as me. Don't matter. When it comes to the Most High, he's fair across the board. Are you constant? Do you maintain your fear of the Lord? Are you sincere? Do you care? Do you care about your relationship? Do you have a zeal and a passion to serve the Most High? You don't got to duplicate the exact advantages your fathers have. The Most High will judge you off something else. Just sincerity alone. Zealousness alone. The fact that you want to keep a constant connection with him. You don't got to be the warrior that David was, nor the soldier, nor the writer, nor the prophet, nor the songwriter, the author, the poet. Doesn't matter. Finish that.
And uniform.
And uniform. Go ahead.
And did it.
He cared about order. Uniform is order.
Yeah, that's true. That's powerful.
He cared about order. Doing things the right way. Read.
And did it from a good principle.
And he did it from a what?
We came from a good place.
It came from a good place, man. Good intentions, man. It's hard to beat David in the Bible, bro. I ain't gonna lie. You compare yourself to David, those are big shoes to follow. Which he is in our lineage. But you don't gotta be David for the Most High to accept you. You just gotta have a good heart, man.
That's the last line.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
With a single eye to the glory of the Most High. He had one focus.
Yep.
I have one focus, one perspective. I'm not deviating in perspective. A single eye is one single perspective.
I have one aim.
God.
My aim is to make the Most High happy. Because a lot of times we got split aims.
Yep.
And what splits our aims?
Our desires.
Money, wealth,
Liberty.
freedom, possessions, substance,
Benefits.
opportunities,
Yeah.
goals, my dreams. I gotta chase my dream. I gotta follow my dreams.
Strong emotions.
Yeah, strong emotion. These things split our focus to the Most High. And Shalom family online, for everybody watching online, Shalom. Connie, we all reading those comments online for sure. Sister, you right about that, about how, the Most High will put people in your life to help you connect to Him, at different times. All right, and that's it with that, right?
That's it.
So that's just showing how, although David has big shoes to fill, as far as in the line of the kingships or even us, that doesn't mean the Most High won't approve of us if we're truly sincere. All right. So finish that last part in you was in Acts chapter 7, right?
Yeah.
Read that 53 one more time.
Come. Well, I had to jump back to Chronicles. I got you right.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to Chronicles and get back. We just had to take a little moment to show how important it is to navigate yourself in the course of your forefathers, but also be better than them as much as possible. If you can't, still keep a heart towards the Most High. Read.
Acts chapter 7 and verse 53 reads, and who have received the law by the disposition of angels.
He said, Stephen said, man, y'all got this truth in this Bible, in these scriptures, in this connection, in this law, from the mouth of who?
Angels.
From the mind of angels, man. Go ahead.
And have not kept it.
And even though he calls Moses like an angel to the children of Israel, Elijah like an angel to the children of Israel, Elisha like an angel to the children of Israel, he said, you still haven't what?
Kept it.
Still ain't kept it.
And I gotta say one thing, and the reason why this is such a critical point is bringing out. The critical point is, we look at when a person says and tells us the right thing to do, we always play the what about you game. We always look for the flaw in other men as my door to escape the reasoning and the following and the heeding and the connecting and the believing in the counsel. The believing in the biblical direction the Most High is trying to steer me. So, okay, cool, no problem. I will give you the same exact counsel through a spirit who is equivalent to an angel.
Yeah.
So there's no more excuse about, I can't get past this because this person 2 minutes ago or a year ago said a cuss word, or this person right here crashed a car, or this person did this, I just can't get that out of my mind. That's why I can't follow you. Most of the time I'll give you,
because I seen your mistakes.
I see your mistakes. I'm going to give you the same information, because it's not changing, from another vessel, from a spring that looks angelic, almost an angelic spring. Now you have an angelic cup to drink the same water. You couldn't drink out of a plastic cup, I get it. Let's give him the glass cup, with the real pretty glass, the liquor cup with the
flute.
The
flute glass.
Yeah, the flute. Let's get the flute glass cup and drink the same water. You gonna drink the water now? No, I don't want to drink this water, man.
So it wasn't the cup.
So it wasn't the cup, because you said it was the cup. It was the plastic cup. It was styrofoam. It was paper. I thought it was gonna look kind of dirty in there. I'm not sure. I don't accept this cup.
I can't get this information from that person.
Yeah, I just can't.
He did jail time.
Yeah, I just can't take it from that person. That's not the person, because in the contrary, other people do the opposite. Well, say you don't have enough dirt to talk to me. You ain't did enough to talk to me. Listen, you ain't lived enough life to talk to me.
You ain't come from where I come from.
You don't come from where I come from. You don't have a record.
You can't relate.
Listen, if you ain't shot a couple niggas, I can't really listen to you.
You ain't been to prison.
You ain't been to prison. You ain't done dirt. You ain't slanged as much dope as me. So why should I listen to you?
Right.
So our people.
You don't got street cred.
You don't got street cred.
That's hilarious.
Our people are crazy. Either you're not a holy angel, or you haven't done enough dirt.
You're not thug enough.
You're not thug enough for me to follow. Our people don't want to follow in general. It has nothing to do with the cup or the vessel or the person. It's your aversion to the information. I want to do this on my own. You have the self-made mindset. You have the I want to do it. I want to discover. The Bible says a fool's heart seeks to discover itself. If you didn't discover in the Bible for yourself, then it must not be true. Even though all the information and resources and all the knowledge, so you got a nice cup of water here. The Most High's with it, right? The water. But if you didn't come up with, if it wasn't a dream that popped into your mind and told you to do it, if it wasn't directly coming from you, you're not going to follow it. Why is that? Because you want to follow you, good or bad. And that's a stumbling block for our people.
Yep. We look at the source of where it's coming from.
Come on.
But because we're critical of the source and not of what's coming at us. Not what the Most High is using to convince us to change. We're too busy looking at the external, and that just shows you how shallow-minded our people are. Because we'll judge and critique somebody, based. And this is why Christ was a man of no reputation. He wasn't known to be tall, dark, and handsome. Matter of fact, the scriptures say it wasn't really nothing comely about him that people wanted to duplicate or to have of his. He wasn't admirable, and nobody was looking at Christ like, man, I want your eyes, man. I like his eyes, man. He got these nice almond eyes. It wasn't his cheekbones that was, you know, he had high cheekbones and this or radiant smile. Man, it was, when you look at the reports historically, Christ was, it said he was more marred than any man.
Amen.
He really wasn't a good looking man. The Most High had it that way on purpose. He wasn't good looking. He wasn't your ideal person that you want to follow like Tyson Beckford. He wasn't the guy, the ideal guy that makes you say, man, I would follow him on Facebook. I'll follow him on Instagram. You know, because I like what he's saying as far as, you know, his image, you know, how he carries himself.
I like his presentation.
He presents himself well. People didn't follow Christ because of his looks. Because you know what? If you were judging off his looks, then you would have missed an opportunity. And that's the way the Most High set it up. If you were shallow in your perspective, then you would have missed being healed. You would have missed your family being healed. But the Most High purposely put Christ at a disadvantage, both physically, to not be respected by people that have shallow minds. But he spoke with power. That's why they asked him, the Pharisees, where'd you get this power from? And even those men that was with Christ, like Peter and Paul and James, when they spoke, he said, we perceive that they must have been with Christ because they speak with power. So was it the looks? Was it the height? Was it the dress? It was his Roman attire, his togas. He had gold lace togas. Come on, bro.
Right.
He had Versace sandals. Come on, bro. It wasn't no Gucci loafers. It wasn't nothing that he had that made people say, man, I want to follow him. But it's what he was doing. It was what he was saying that was healing the minds. But if you were shallow in your thought process, hey, you blew right past this guy. Who does this dude think he is? He's a nobody. That's fine. But that's to your detriment. And that's how the Most High set it up. Just on that point. So let's get back to where we was at in 2 Chronicles chapter 27.
Come.
Just so how people wasn't going to follow no way, man.
Come. 2 Chronicles chapter 27 and verse 1. Jotham was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Jerusha, the daughter of Zadok. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Most High, according to all that his father Uzziah did. Howbeit, he entered not into the temple of the Most High, and the people did yet corruptly. He built the high gate.
Now, keep in mind, we gotta hit this point up right here. We gotta hit this point up because it shows you that when you look at the beginning of Jotham's rule as a king after King Uzziah, he had a flawless record with the Most High. He was doing everything right. His heart was attached to the Most High. He had a great record. He didn't transgress the laws of the Most High. And he didn't make the mistakes that his father made initially. He didn't go in the temple and try to set up the sacrifices and bypass the priests. He didn't make those mistakes. But did the people follow? You got to bring this point out because it matches what we were saying anyway.
Right.
Regardless of the examples that the Most High put in front of you, that doesn't guarantee the people looking and listening are going to follow. Read that part one more time.
Come. 2 Chronicles chapter 27 and verse 2. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Most High, according to all that his father Uzziah did. Howbeit, he entered not into the temple of the Most High, and the people did yet corruptly.
It said, but yet the people still did what?
Corruptly.
So did they follow a king that had the right heart?
Nah.
Did they duplicate his zeal towards the Most High?
Nah.
His sincerity?
Nah.
Or his passion?
Nah.
Or his actions?
Nah.
No, hell no. Let's read this right here on this particular point in the commentary. Hold that in 2 Chronicles. We're going to pick it right back up. We're just going to explore this point right here in that aspect.
What was amiss in his father?
So it says, it's talking about King Uzziah.
This is what every man should be doing
Right.
What
Now,
was
two things right here.
two things are observed here in his character.
So it says when you look at Jotham, you can examine two things within Jotham's character. Number one was what?
What was amiss in his father, he amended in himself.
It says, read that again.
Powerful right here, bro. What was amiss in his father?
So the things that was wrong with his father was King Uzziah. His father developed a hell of a lot of pride and became bold and insolent and made a lot of mistakes. Read.
In his father, he amended in himself.
So he made sure that the mistakes that my father made, I will not do. He made his goal that I'm not going to do what my father did.
You got to think about him growing up and seeing his father in several houses. It wasn't like he didn't see his daddy no more.
Right.
After that incident, he was still coming of age. And he had, how come he can't come over here and visit father anymore? Well, you know, because of this situation, this incident, this embarrassing incident, this is embarrassment associated with the situation. We gotta go visit daddy over here.
Yeah. We gotta go visit daddy in jail. We gotta sign in and talk to daddy through the glass on the phone. And we put our hand on the glass, and he put his hand on the glass as if we can touch each other.
We can't hug.
But you can't hug him. But you can just hear his voice. And you talking to him on the phone.
Right.
And then he got about 10 minutes, and he got COs yelling at him. You got to get off that phone. And he get to see his kids every so often if they put on the list. But you get to touch the glass, talk to your dad. But he'll tell you right there, don't be like me. Don't come in here with me. These are animals in here. These gorillas and lions in here. Don't come in here like me. Yes, daddy, I ain't going in there. But you going to run the streets. Because who you saw run the streets?
Your pops, eh?
Your pops. You know how many times, especially amongst our people, where the father and son is in the same prison? Where the father got multiple kids in prison with him? It's a family affair. You got grandpa's fathers and sons in jail, in prison, doing time.
Crazy.
Look at the numbers. Google it. You'll find it out yourself. You'll find it out quite often how our people will have generations locked up. You would think that, damn, if I saw my father do it, then I ain't going to do it. Then you think, well, my grandfather and my father got caught up. And I still do what? Walk in their footsteps. I still get caught up following their foolishness. Yes, sir.
The sad thing about that, if I could add this, they look at it even today, especially among the gangs, as a badge of honor. You have to take that step to get the badge of honor. You got to go to prison. You got to go through this. You got to go through what we went through to be like us eventually. It's a badge of honor for
you know what I was looking at. They rounded up another 10,000 in El Salvador for this MS-13 gangs. And when you look at how they got them wearing boxers, everybody seen it on TV or YouTube? They got them wearing boxers, and that's it. They barefoot, no shirt, no pants, no nothing. And they got the same tattoos, and they all bald head. They cut all their hair off. They're all bald headed, and they got them sitting down Indian style with the one in a row like slave ships. You know they had the pictures like that we got on the slave ship. You read that the one in the back on the corner. It's in the row in the office. In the office, in the row. Yes, it's in the corner. When you look at this, not to get off track, but just on this point, when you look at how in El Salvador, if you're a suspected gang member, they got you doing prison time, and you're sitting Indian style, and you got to have your head down on the person's back in front of you, and everybody's Indian style in a row. I wish I had the picture. I'll pull it up on the screen. Matter of fact, you can send that to the YouTube if you got that picture of how they got the prisoners lined up. Brother, this is our people. This is our people.
That's right.
Yeah. Come. If you can pull that up, maybe we can push this on. We can put this on real quick. Maybe we can put this on real fast. this one right here. It's almost similar to how we was on a slave ship. How we was crowded in on a slave ship. And I know that glare ain't really helping.
That's perfect. That looks good.
But how we were on a slave ship, you could see this in El Salvador, how they got them sitting down in prison. Generations of cousins, brothers, uncles, families. They all lined up like this, almost identical to how they got them laid down like this on a slave ship. But they got them in prison like this with just boxer underwear on and nothing else. Don't got nothing else on, bro. Barefoot, no shirt, no pants, no nothing. You seen it? Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it. Yeah, there you go. Let me see if I can pull
That's
it up.
amazing,
Put
bro.
it
Are
on
you
the
serious,
YouTube,
huh?
the YouTube comment.
This is dramatic, huh?
You put it on there?
This is dramatic,
Yes.
bro.
It's the purple.
This is
I don't know if
dramatic,
it came
bro.
up yet.
This looks kind of like the Matrix side, but like the bad version of it. Remember the Matrix? It was all Zion was all together.
God. Let me
This
see if I
is
can.
opposite of that.
It's on the live chat.
It's on the live chat? Okay.
You post the link or you actually post the picture? Oh, okay. All right.
They keep it real on Salvador. though.
Okay, the brother just posted a link. I don't see it on here yet. Maybe it ain't came up yet.
I sent it to you on your phone, so.
All right, cause I'd like to put it on the screen.
They're all in the same gang, pretty much.
Yeah.
Shit, right there.
Wow.
Let me see something real
I'll send it
quick.
again.
Hold on one second. Let me just give me a second. I'll see if I can pull this John up real quick.
I sent you another one.
All right, do you send it to the YouTube?
You got a fire tablet, bro.
Oh,
No, a tablet.
if you put it on, you need to get us all one of those. That's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you pull that up on your own,
I got you.
What? The whole back picture is even crazier, bro. It's bigger than that.
yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if you can put it on the screen, but you can see it on the screen. They can pull it up on their own.
We can email. You think we can email?
You see it now?
Yeah, you can email it. Let me see.
Can you email this picture to
isbhpk@yahoo.com. You can airdrop it to the laptop. That's true.
Oh, that's crazy, bro. That's
Anyway.
a crazy picture. Out.
Yeah, but that's modern slavery, bro. And those are generations, those are families right there. We'll deal with that in a minute. So if you got it on, if you see it for yourself, cool. We'll get it on next time. Salakia.
But it's sons and fathers.
But that's generations right there, bro. Getting locked up. The water y'all wab on that airdrop.
Thank you, sir.
We'll deal with it another time. We're gonna keep going on this point. Let's finish this right here. Let's go. These are the two things that was made mention of Jotham.
So, but I can't lie. Me and the brother, we went to this NA meeting, right? And talked to a dude that said the son and the father were doing drugs together. You know what I'm saying? They were like a unit, bro. They were a
You
unit.
send it to my phone.
isbhpk@yahoo.com.
Yeah.
I
'cause
sent you two of them on your phone.
okay. Let me see what I can do. Keep talking, W.
No,
I can probably pull it
what's
up.
crazy, I know you're using the prison dynamic, but we were seeing firsthand the son he was fighting to escape that dynamic he had with his father. Him and his father both lived in a tent together. They lived in a tent together and they would do their chemicals together, bro. But it was amazing, bro. It was amazing to see this. A lot of people that were dealing with that addictive issue, a lot of that was a family thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This lady, a lot of people were born into it. I remember a lot of Issachar I went to school with, they were born into this kind of family structure.
God.
And these things were like really a outward growth.
A generational thing.
Yeah, it was outward growth of their natural home life. And it was normal. It was a normal thing. Like, why is this isn't dysfunctional. This is normal. But it goes back to this point in the scripture that the child has to choose. If the father was not the proper example, or the father had improper examples, good and bad, it's the son's responsibility towards Christ and the Father, Most High, to amend those mistakes. That's That's the responsibility of the child. Because I can't say it's daddy's fault forever. You know what I'm saying? At a certain age, I'm accountable for my own actions. A child, I get a child. A child can blame the parent, bro. But you can't be 18 plus, bro. You can't be 18, 19 plus, 30 plus, 40 plus, blaming daddy, bro.
I got it right here.
You found it?
Yeah.
We can't be 40 plus blaming daddy while I'm here. At some point, I have to be accountable for my decisions. And at some point, I have to be accountable to my spiritual father. Because we all have a spiritual father. We might have fathers of the flesh. You know, we all have fathers of the flesh. But what about our spiritual father?
God.
That's what it comes down to. I know you're pulling up right now.
Yeah, it's right here.
That's it right there. The water, sir. Whoever put that on there. Thank you.
Can y'all see this on the
This is a phenomenal picture, bro.
I don't know if y'all, no, I don't think y'all can see this on the
Let's
screen.
look at the transatlantic slave trade right here, bro. Exactly like it.
All right, hold on.
This is amazing, bro.
Can y'all see this on the
Y'all see it?
No, not yet. Not yet. I see when they'll be able to see it. Hold on.
It's worth showing.
Not yet.
That's amazing,
I got the airdrop link.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay. I got the picture on here so far, but give me a second.
And so, understanding the Most High puts you through situations, and those situations are to reveal obedience or disobedience. We blame the situation as for the reason why I can't comply with the Most High. We have it backwards. The situation is revealing why I don't comply with the Most High. Is that clear? We're like, it's the it's my condition, it's my situation, it's the woman you gave me.
There it is.
There you
It's
go.
up there.
Okay.
Can y'all see it on there now? Y'all in the class?
It's a delay, not just yet.
Okay.
Can you see it?
It's the woman you gave me.
It's a delay.
It's the car
Okay.
you gave me.
I'll let you know.
It's the house you gave me. It's the teacher you gave me. It's the school you gave me. It's the friends you gave me. It's the cousins you gave me. My whole life ends up being a blame for everything around me. Then the woman's like, it was the serpent.
Yeah, we see it now.
Con right now.
You see it?
It's
All
like
right.
a 20-second delay on us.
All right, perfect.
It's there.
So everybody in the situation, it's always somebody's fault, but really the son has a job or responsibility to do what?
He
What
said-
was amiss?
He said there's two things that stood out. He said number one was what?
What was amiss in his father, he amended in himself.
He said so the things that his father did wrong,
Goodness, wow.
he made sure what?
To not.
He made sure everything that was wrong with my
Didn't
father,
repeat.
I didn't do it again.
Right.
I didn't repeat my father's mistakes.
Con.
I didn't follow my father's errors.
Con.
That was number one. And if I did see it in him, then I know and recognize that it's easy for me to duplicate that because that's the example that's been in front of my eyes. So I'll make sure I remove any opportunity for me to duplicate those actions. I get that out of the way. Read on.
It says, he did according to all that his father did well. And
It said he did all according to his father
Man.
did what?
He did according to all.
That was number two. Not only did he not duplicate the mistakes of his father,
This is beautiful.
but he actually picked up
This is powerful.
the beauty of his father.
Man, bro.
So it wasn't. It was a double advantage because he made full use of his father. That means I saw what he did wrong and I made sure I'm Xing that out. I'm not doing that. Then I saw what he did right and I'm going to duplicate that.
Con.
So that's how you make full use of your previous generation.
That's beautiful, bro.
Generation to generation, that's exactly what
This is the
it is, right?
solution.
That's the answer, bro.
This is the answer.
Con.
If you didn't have an answer before, because everyone's like, oh man, it's just the information. The Bible's too complicated.
No, you had
This is as clear as it can get.
You had examples.
Mhm.
What did you do with those examples? We all had examples. We had right and wrong examples.
Right.
You had good examples you could imitate and emulate, or you had bad examples you could imitate and emulate.
Oh.
The choice was yours. Did you make full use of the that's why I said you saw uncles.
Right.
You saw uncles and cousins. You saw family members. Not everybody was doing well. You saw who was on dialysis.
Right.
You saw who was getting their kidney removed. You saw who was on a respirator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on a colostomy bag.
Who had the crazy ankles?
Yeah, you knew the uncle that smoked till he had the
The thing in his throat.
yeah, that damn voice box.
Oh,
That
man.
damn little
That's horrible.
that damn electronic thing that battery operated.
Nah.
Good morning. Yeah, you got that hole. You had that tracheotomy.
They're here.
Yeah, you had to get that. You had to get that hole because you smoked the hole in your throat. You had the throat cancer, so you had to put the little voice box to your neck, to the side of your neck, to your larynx. How you been, boy? I ain't seen you in a long time. Been at least 10 years, boy. You getting big, boy. You getting big.
Oh no! What'd you turn into?
Yeah, but then you know what's so crazy? I had family like that, but you know what's so crazy?
Oh man.
They put the cigarette
Smoke through their hole.
right to that little hole.
Yeah, smoke through the hole.
They put the cigarette right on the little hole and still smoke it. Yes. Yeah, I seen family members do that. You still gonna keep going, huh? You know what the excuse is? We gotta die of something. We gotta die of something. Everybody don't live forever. They put it. We gonna die sometime. Everybody gonna die of something. They put it right on their neck and smoke it right through the hole. I had family like that. So yeah, that means you gonna do it to the death, huh? So now, what about the young generation watching? What examples are they setting in front of them?
Don't do like me, boy.
Yeah, don't be like me, boy. Be better than me. Come on, man. That's our people, though. You seen how their life was crashed out. And your mama said, no, they can't live. You know, the uncle trying to come live in the house in the back room. No, he can't come in here. He too touchy feely. Not that uncle.
Yeah.
He too touchy feely. Come and give me a hug.
Oh no.
No. Your hug lasts too long, man.
You know what's crazy? My uncle like that. His name was Uncle Pig.
Uncle Pig. Everybody got some uncles and aunts like that.
Pig.
Everybody got them uncles that wasn't no damn good and aunts that wasn't no good. But you had good examples too. It was, but you had choices that you could have followed. That's the point. You could lock into the good, or you could lock into the evil. That's up to you. You have good examples and bad examples you could pull from. Number 2, Jotham did what?
It says he did according to all that his father did well.
So he made sure he duplicated the good, not the bad. Read.
And wisely.
And he made sure he followed his father's wisdom. Go ahead.
Howbeit, he would not imitate him in which he did amiss. For he entered not into the temple of the Lord to burn incense.
He said, I saw where the Most High struck my father down. I saw what he did to where he was on top and now he's on the bottom. I saw what the Most High did to him. I saw his fall from grace. So let me make sure I don't fall from grace like he fell from grace.
Right.
Papa was a rolling stone, right?
Come.
Wherever he laid his hat was his home.
Come.
And when he died, all he left us was a loan that we couldn't pay off.
Yeah.
Read.
It says, for he entered not into the temple of the Lord to burn incense as his father did, but took warning by his fate not to dare so presumptuous a thing.
I'm not going to be presumptuous. Presumptuous means willful. I'm not going to be bold, man. I'm not going to frustrate the grace of the Most High Christ. I'm not going to be bold as if the Most High, I'm untouchable, as if the Most High can't sting me. I'm not going to keep doing what's wrong as if the Most High can't reach out and touch me. Because when he does reach out and touch you, you don't want none of it. And you can't handle it. You can't handle the Most High's judgment. It don't go well with us. But he said he wouldn't dare become bold as his father. Read on.
It says, note, we must not imitate the best men and those we have too great veneration of, any further than they did well.
He said.
I said it wrong.
So yeah, read it again.
No, we must not imitate the best men and those we have the greatest veneration for any further than they did well.
So he says, so regardless of what got that person notoriety, they could have been corrupt to get the notoriety. But if they didn't do well, but they still have notoriety, don't follow it. So what our people do is imitate thugs. We want to be, that's our rap names. Benny Siegel. Why is my rap name Benny Siegel? Because who was Benny Siegel? Italian criminal. Scarface.
Bugsy Siegel.
Bugsy Siegel, yeah.
And then his name is Beanie. He just used his last
Bugsy
name.
Siegel. I don't imitate Scarface. Scarface was a character in the movie. Cassidy. Butch Cassidy.
Butch Cassidy.
Right. Because that's what we do. We take the worst of the society and want to imitate them. Capone. Noriega.
Al Capone.
Yeah, Capone and Noriega.
Yeah, N-O-R-E.
Both of them. So, but we see the worst elements in people and we emulate those individuals. He said it don't matter how you venerate somebody, if they're not doing well, don't imitate it. Go ahead.
But on the contrary, their falls and the injurious consequences of them,
it never ends well. No gangster story ends well. It never ends well. Nobody stays on top. You know, and there's always a demise and a fall waiting for those that do indulge in those things. Read on.
Must be warnings to us to walk.
It says those are just what?
Warnings to us to walk.
Man, all them bad uncles and their situations in life and how they living with grandma but they in their 50s and 60s.
Must be warnings.
They never left the house.
Must be warnings.
They still got monitors on their leg.
Must be warnings.
They live in fear of violating probation.
Must be warnings.
They go to the yard, and the mailbox, and that's about as far as they can go.
Must be warnings.
But they 60 years old.
Must be warnings.
They can't get a job because they get a record too strong.
Must be warnings.
Damn.
To us.
What are they?
To walk the more circumspectly.
So yeah, you always got warnings. You always got people that are going to be set up as examples in front of you. What do you do with those examples? The Most High give everybody examples. He give you good, he give you bad. You do what you want to do. Whether you heeded the warning or not is up to you. Read on.
It says, oh man, warnings, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says, the injurious consequence of them must be warnings to us to walk the more circumspectly, that we stumble not at the same stone.
So we don't make the mistakes they did. Read.
That they stumbled at.
Yep.
What was amiss in his people.
So this talking about King Jotham. Go ahead.
He could not prevail to amend.
So even though King Jotham walked a straight and narrow path and was industrious, had a right heart towards the Most High, he couldn't convince the people to do what?
The same.
The same thing. Yes.
Why is it so far few in between? Like you can have 17 nephews and all have the same example of the same father, and not one of them, only one of them do it. Only one changed the behavior.
Because many are called but few are chosen.
Yeah.
Everybody ain't gonna do the same thing. Everybody ain't gonna make the same righteous
Yeah, I
decision.
got that.
You know what? Because, yes, sir.
I always thought of it like for myself with my kid it's a different reincarnated spirit. Like he went through what he went through in his previous lives and he's back and he's trying it out again. Like I try to, like when I was there, try to give him an example, but he's his own spirit.
Right.
That's the best that I could rationalize it for myself. Because the apple don't always fall. The apple sometimes it falls far from the tree. It doesn't always fall close to the tree like you want it.
Right.
Sometimes the son ain't gonna be the father.
And that's what he's saying right now is, regardless of all those examples of good and bad that's out there, regardless of those good examples, not everybody is going to follow the good example.
Nah.
And that's what King Jotham, that's what happened with him. Regardless of his aptitude towards the Most High, his sincerity towards the Most High, it didn't guarantee that the people were going to follow that. He couldn't amend them, even though he made sure he didn't make his father's mistakes. He couldn't get the people as a king to not follow bad examples. It's almost like that negative, it gets ingrained and it takes root.
Right.
And once that negativity takes root, it's hard to get out. It's the malignity of the root.
Yeah.
And that root, and this is why it says in Hebrews chapter 12, get this real quick. And I'll let you finish what you're saying. But just want to get this point. Yeah. Let's get 12 and 14.
Come on. Hebrews chapter 12.
Let everybody get it.
Come on.
Yeah, Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 14.
Let's still get it.
Hold on, just let everybody get it. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 14, right?
Yeah.
Can I help you find this, sir? It's in the back of the book.
Yeah. You want to help brother get it real quick? You got it? All right. He got it.
Doesn't have it.
He got it. He got it.
Okay.
Yeah, he gonna get it. Go ahead.
Come on. Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 14. Follow peace.
It said what?
Follow peace.
What you supposed to be following?
Follow peace.
No, you're supposed to be following chaos.
Peace.
Drama.
Follow peace.
Agitation.
Follow peace.
Niggerdom.
Follow peace.
Thugs.
Follow peace.
Gangsters.
Follow peace.
Players.
Follow peace.
Dealers.
Follow peace.
Scammers.
Follow peace.
You're supposed to be do-dirties.
Follow peace.
You're supposed to be following who?
Peace.
That's what you're looking after. That's what you're supposed to be following. Read.
With all men.
Go ahead.
And holiness.
In what?
Holiness.
What are you supposed to be trying to duplicate?
Holiness.
Holiness. Meaning, to be holiness, it means to be set apart. Holy means to be consecrated. Consecrated means to be set aside for a divine purpose. That means that I live out the purpose of what the Most High created me for. I got to make sure that my life is a replication of the purpose that the Most High put me on earth for, which is to follow His commandments. That's what I was created for. That's what holiness is. Yes, sis.
So that means you need to be around people that are being peaceful or walking
In that same spirit.
Yes, in that
Come.
same spirit. Because if they're gang people, then you're going to be doing things that are not holy and going to be leading you down the wrong path.
Right, that influence is going to be strong.
Okay, so you won't be able to walk in the peace. You won't be able to be peaceful.
Yes, sis. Just on that point that you just brought up right there, sis, let me get this real quick. Yeah, I want to get it's Wisdom of Solomon. That's what I want. It's Wisdom of Solomon, and it's chapter Wisdom of Solomon, the Apocrypha.
Yeah.
And I think it's chapter 6. I'm sorry, hold on. No, it's Wisdom of Solomon. I mean, it's Ecclesiastes chapter 6. Start at verse 33.
Anyone for the brother?
Let me get you the Apocrypha real quick. It's on page 74. Page 74 in the Apocrypha. 74. Ecclesiastes chapter 6. Read this real quick. Start at verse 33. Real quick. Just read on down.
Okay. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6 and verse 33. If thou love to hear,
It said, if you love to hear, go ahead.
thou shalt receive understanding.
So if you love instruction, you shall receive what?
Understanding.
Read on.
And if thou bow thine ear,
If you bow your ear down, that's a sign of humility. To bow your ear down means you're humble. That means you don't have your own opinion. You open yourself up to hear somebody else's opinion. That's a sign of humility. Read on.
thou shalt be wise.
You'll get what? You'll get wisdom. Read on.
Stand in the multitude of the elders.
Where are you supposed to be at?
Stand in the multitude of the elders.
Go ahead.
And cleave unto him that is wise.
And you supposed to be sticking to the violent group, the gangsters?
Cleave unto him that is wise.
You supposed to be sticking with who?
Cleave unto him that is wise.
You're supposed to be sticking to people that use wisdom. Read on.
Be willing to hear every godly discourse.
You gotta let the godly check you. You gotta let the godly teach you. You gotta let the godly instruct you. Read on.
And let not the parables of understanding escape thee.
That's the scary part. That's the scary part.
And don't miss when instruction is being given. Read on.
And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him.
Get away from him.
Get thee betimes unto him.
Argue with him.
Avoid him.
Get thee betimes unto him.
Yeah, argue with him.
Get thee betimes unto him.
It said, when you say get thee betimes, that means get close to him as quick as possible. Read on.
And let thy foot wear the steps of his door.
So be around the right people at all times. Read on.
Let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Most High.
Because they're going to give you godly discourse, which is godly teaching. Read on.
And meditate continually in his commandments.
Go ahead.
He shall establish thine heart.
He'll make your heart as solid as your elder's heart. Read on.
And give thee wisdom at thy own desire.
So yeah, you want to put yourself around the right people with the right influence at the right time, because they have something to offer you. You pick up their discipline. You pick up their instruction. You pick up their habits. You want to do that. So let that go, and let's finish this real quick. Now we got the second part of what made Jotham special. Read.
This is right here. Right here, number 2.
Mm-hmm.
For he was amiss in his people, he could not prevail to amend.
Go ahead. What was amiss?
What was amiss in his people, he could not prevail to amend. The people did yet corruptly. Perhaps it reflects some blame upon him.
So he says perhaps if this is commentary saying that perhaps it's something that he could have done better. When you look at the people under you that's supposed to be following you, and they're doing bad, they're not following after the good that you're doing, there could cause some conflict of judgment. So what it is, okay, so if I see the people that's under me not following me, then they're not duplicating my good works. Then what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong to where there's a disconnection from my example and their following or their obedience? What am I doing wrong? There's an answer.
Bad leadership?
Bad leadership? No, not if I'm doing right. If I'm doing right but they're doing wrong but they're not following, where's the disconnection at?
Their choice.
Yes, their choice.
That person, he's doing right. He ain't the one to blame.
Maybe not conveying the information over. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying. Just thinking.
Okay, not conveying the information. Their choice.
Their choice.
There's an answer.
Okay, more accurate.
Just another aspect would be just leading by a good example.
But if I'm leading by a good example, but they're not following, then what? Yes. What you got?
Is it the I guess the fetters that you're putting on them, or how much you're restricting them from?
Yes. You know what that means? How much you tolerate.
Mm-hmm.
That means, for example, if I don't do drugs, like my grandmother, she didn't do drugs, but she said, well, the grandkids gonna do it in the street anyway, so they might as well do it in the house where they're safe at.
Exactly.
Even though she didn't do it.
Right.
But what did she teach them?
That it's okay.
That it's acceptable.
As long as you're in the house.
As long as you're in the house doing it. As long as you're not in the street. Because the street you go to jail. But you know what? Maybe you need to go to jail. Maybe you need to sit down a little bit so you can rethink what you're doing. That would have been appropriate. You ain't doing it in this house. You leave the streets for the streets. You're not bringing that mess in here. You know why? Because where's the respect going to be if she tolerates that?
Exactly.
What else they going to do in the house?
Everything else.
They're going to do everything else in the house.
Give an inch, they'll take a mile.
There's no valid consequence. There's no real consequence if that's the case. What's the consequences for doing that behavior? There isn't none. It's not really smacked or smited down. It's not really attacked. That behavior is not attacked. You know what it's hard to do? It's hard to chastise the ones you love, because you don't want them to turn on you,
Disapprove.
you don't want them to hate you in the end,
Resent you.
you don't want them to resent you, you don't want them to despise you. But you have a choice to make. Either I show them tough love so that they can change, or I keep tolerating their behavior and they'll lose respect and they're never going to turn out good if I keep tolerating it. So it is those fetters that I choose to apply.
That tolerance can be poisonous.
Yeah, the lack of tolerance, or the lack of tolerance, meaning I sit back and, or the quantity of tolerance that I have for them. So, because you know what, I let them slide. I let them get away with it. Just this one time, y'all can do that. Just this weekend. Just this one time. It ain't gonna be just this one time.
I was gonna say that's like how some of the kings did right in the sight of the Most High, but they didn't remove those high places.
Exactly, because they tolerated the high places, and that's what we're gonna go into a show.
Water, no passage.
Yeah, they tolerated the high places, and that's what mistakes that Jotham. That's one of the mistakes that he made, is that he didn't remove everything that was wicked. He let it remain to where it was an option that you get to do this. There is no option when it comes to righteousness. Man, there's no options.
And it's very close to how you deal with the garden, how you deal with weeds. Everybody, I was a kid, and I was taking all the weeds of the garden out. And I was just cutting them down with this stick. I was just killing them out. I was just hitting the weeds out. This is big, those big milkweeds out. The real big milkweed, the yellow flowers. I'm just hitting them, and I'm just slaying them with the sticks out. And then like a couple days later, it was right back. I'm like, what is this?
You didn't kill the roots.
But they went right back up. Then I got a stick again, a long stick. I said, I'm just ripping them apart. I was just destroying them out. I feel like the Most High, just destroying them. And then you look up again, and a couple days later, when it rains, what happens? Right back up. And then I saw somebody go in their garden.
It's hilarious.
And they went and they pulled it out by the root.
Exactly.
And I realized, oh, that's what I did wrong.
We don't use that concept in life.
I didn't pull out. I didn't deal with the issue by the root. I just attacked the part I didn't like. I didn't like how ugly it wasn't the flower.
The top surface.
I didn't like how it looked. It looked nasty and ugly to me. So I'm gonna tear it down. But I didn't take in conscious that as high as this plant is growing, as deep as the roots are going.
Yep. And it's no different when you got teenagers, and you let them have sleepovers, and then you let the counter sex, the opposite sex, come over the house. 12 years old, 13, 14 years old, and they get to go in the room and close the door and spend the night.
You got to bounce on that one, bro.
Oh, bro, it's a wrap. How long that's gonna last? But you know what? They're just teenagers. They're gonna have their fun. Let them do their thing. Oh, let them do their thing. And you're gonna be a 26-year-old grandma.
Right.
You're a 30-year-old grandma. Because you know what? You don't let them do their thing. That's what you open the door for that. You tolerate that. But you know what? That's how you deal and eradicate and put a straw. That's one thing that when you look at the good kings in the history of good kings, they left like Josiah. They left no room for sin. They gave no place for sin. They eradicated those opportunities. They eradicated those situations. It wasn't no come as you are. No, you gotta make some changes. You're not coming in here with that. And it's hard. That's tough love, and it's hard to do that. But in order for respect to be laid down and implemented, before change is really considered, to not strengthen them in their negative, you gotta put your foot down and have some laws. There's got to be some boundaries set. You're not going to pass this point. I don't care what you do and how you think you can get away with that at so-and-so's house or at school or wherever you are. You're not bringing that mess, that sin, that wickedness in this location. And I'm not going to tolerate it. So hate me or love me, but that's the way it has to be. Because when you look at the good kings, they were the ones that said, man, we're not going to forsake the Most High's blessing to allow some negative to come in the country. One sinner destroyed what?
Much good.
Much good. A little leaven does what? Leaveneth the whole lump. That means it only takes a small amount of influence to pollute an entire nation, an entire camp, an entire household. It only takes one person that wants to be different, special, or better than everybody else, or feel like they got some freedom and liberty to do what they want to do. And it contaminates everything. So that was one of Jotham's mistakes. That's why it says he possibly could be blamed because of what he tolerated. Read.
That he was wanting in his part towards the reformation of the land.
Meaning he was responsible. He had a part that he played for the reformation, for not reforming the land. Go ahead.
Men may be very good themselves.
Which he was. Go ahead.
And yet do not have courage.
They don't have what?
Courage.
Or what?
Confidence in Christ, confidence in faith.
Courage is a state of mind. Courage is a state of mind that gives a person the capacity to encounter danger or fear without regret.
Fear of loss.
Fear of loss. See, if I don't want the people to turn against me, then I'll let them get away with stuff because I don't want you to hate me. Yeah. So because I don't want you to hate me, just this one time I'm gonna let you get away with it.
Like Aaron, right?
Yeah.
Showing they think they're showing mercy and compassion.
They think they're showing mercy and compassion
when they do that,
but they're actually are responsible for the corruption of those individuals. Because I didn't have no courage to tell them the truth. Wow. So I allowed it because I was fearing loss. I don't want them to hate me. I don't want you to hate me. I don't want my kids to hate me. I don't want nobody to hate me. So I'm gonna allow a little sin so that they don't hate me. Go ahead.
And zeal.
He said so. It says
courage and zeal. It says
and yet not have. It says men may be good, very good themselves, and yet not have what?
Courage and zeal.
To what?
To do what they might do toward the reforming of others.
That to do what you're supposed to do to reform people, that means you got to drop the hammer down and draw the line. That means hey, listen, I understand your condition, I understand your circumstance, I understand what you're going through, but you know what? You can't do that here. You're not going to perform that way. You're not going to bring that attitude. You're not going to bring that behavior. You're not going to bring that sin here. This is whatever you do out there, that's what you do. But you're not doing it here, not in this land. Good kings have that courage. Whether you know what, that means that if people hate me for being right, am I your enemy because I tell you the what?
Truth.
The truth. So you gonna hate me because I tell you the truth? Then hate me then. You might as well hate me then. Because you know what I'm not gonna stop doing? I'm not gonna stop telling you where you're wrong at. And it takes courage to do that. Because you know what that means? That means you might leave. That person that person might leave and hate you and despise you, but they'll love you later.
Yeah, that's true.
They will love you later. Just like everybody does, had tough coaches and tough teachers, tough senseis, karate senseis, tough instructors, tough parents. You know what? I hated going through that. Whoop me every time. But you know what? I wouldn't be where I'm at today if they weren't that hard on me. Now I understand the beauty of why they were so tough. Because I was a fool, and I would have destroyed myself had they been in compliance to my behavior. I would have destroyed myself. Yeah, but you know how many people don't have the gall or the faith, the belief to pull those strings? Those are some tough strings to pull. But you know what it lacks? It's courage. Courage is another word for faith. That if I do the right thing and I lose, but I still gave the Most High's pleasure, then the Most High will bring it back. The Most High will give it back to me. He'll bring them back to me. Gotta have it. Yes, sir.
I was just gonna say that I relate fully. Well, my biggest mistake, one of my biggest mistakes early on, you told me it's yourself, but I do, my leniency and lack of courage to execute and implement that sternness. But what a brother ended up telling me was, hey, you know what? Hate me now, love me later. But you're not going to die because of me. You're not gonna die because of my leniency. You're not gonna die because I let you do things and get and have your little freedom. You're not gonna die because of that.
Right.
So you probably hate me now, but you're gonna love me later for it. You're gonna thank me for it later.
Right.
So feel however you're gonna feel, but this is business.
That's the Most High's business. I mean, that's how you got to be with sin.
That's what I learned. This is my
That's what you got to be with sin.
God.
You can't give it no room. Sin is cancerous, bro. You give it an opportunity to plant a seed. That's why we in Hebrews. Go back to Hebrews chapter 12. Finish that in Hebrews. We're gonna bring in the next reader too. Start at verse 15.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 15. Looking diligently, lest any man fail.
It says you got to look diligently, lest any man do what?
Fail.
Look, if you're not diligent, which means put painstaking effort in serving the Most High, you're gonna what?
Fail.
If you're not looking diligently to keep the peace around you, he said, then you're gonna what?
Fail.
You're gonna fail. Read on.
Of the grace of the Most High.
What happened to King Uzziah? He
fell of the grace of the Most High.
He fell from grace because he wasn't diligent in his pride. He let his pride get to him. He let his pride be his downfall. He says you gotta be diligent to make sure that you don't allow nothing negative within yourself to let it to grow. He gonna explain. Read on.
Lest any root.
Unless any what?
Root.
Like Dawiyah was talking about. Lest any what?
Root.
Of what?
Of bitterness.
Do what?
Springing up trouble you.
It says there's things inside of you that if you don't eradicate it, it's going to be a problem for you later. It could possibly be your downfall.
Oh my God.
If you don't pull out these certain things in you, there's issues within your soul, within your mind and your thoughts that's going to destroy you later if you don't remove them. There's habits that you have, attachments that you have, addictions that you have, ways of thinking, whether it be pride that you have. If you don't root it out, that's going to be your destruction.
Wow.
You got to pull it out. You got to look diligently to get it out now, because you will suffer for it later. King Uzziah wasn't diligent. He was too busy looking at his success. Look at what I've done positive. Look at what I've done right. Look at what I've done. Look at what I built. Look at what I made. Look at what I engineered.
There's always work to be done.
There's always work. Read on.
And thereby many be defiled.
And thereby many be what?
Defiled.
Yeah, you're going to defile. You're polluted and corrupted. You're no good for the Most High. Because you didn't pull out the negative in you. Why? Either because you didn't look at the bad examples that was in front of you, or you didn't follow the good examples that was in front of you, or whether you had good examples, those good examples tolerated your negative. Because that ain't right either. And now their blood is on your hands because you tolerated it. And that's why Jotham, it says that he may have made a mistake in the reformation of his people, because he didn't have the courage to tell the people he didn't make the tough call. The tough call will make you hated amongst your family members. You don't want to be the guy that spoiled the fun. Man, every time we try to have a good time, here you come. Yeah, you always got some. You always try to. You like Sharif. You like Sharif from what's that? Boys in the Hood.
Minister Society.
Oh, that Minister Society. You like Sharif? You always spoiling the fun, man. You always tell us put the gun down, man. You always tell us to put the dope down.
Tropical ass off the cooler.
Yeah. So you the one that always come in and destroy what we trying to do, man. You never let us have a good time, man. Get out of here, man. You don't even want you around here. You ain't fun to be around. You killing the buzz, man. You know what? That's a tough call if you're a teenager. It's a tough call if you're a grown man, because that means you're not gonna have a lot of friends. I mean, you ain't gonna have a lot of friends. But are you willing to forfeit your friends, or watch your friends die and you didn't say nothing? You didn't tell them. You didn't tell them. You ain't tell them. You just say, man, you know what? I know that's not a prescription. I know that's a street element, and anybody could have made it in their damn kitchen, a bathtub. But I sit up there and watch you take it, and now you brain dead. But I didn't say nothing. Whose fault is it?
Yours.
Yours. Yeah. Or you say, man, I just want friends. For the sake of friends, I don't want to lose friends. You don't lose them anyway if you don't make the tough call. If you don't make the solid call, you're going to lose them anyway. So he said, lest any root of bitterness do what? Spring up. Nagaha, next reader. Salute man real quick.
Did you want that trimmed out ways for love?
Man, now that's good too. But you know, that's what we do.
Nagaha, Shal Shabbatah, Ban Shemai Wan, Ban Yasha Allah.
Nagaha, Shal Sabbatah, Ban Shemai Wan, Ban Yasha Allah. Amaju, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbatah.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbatah.
That's Batah. All right. You're going to pick up where Quran left off, Hebrews chapter 12. Finish that real quick. Finish it in 16.
Right. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person. Oh.
Yeah. So if you don't remove the negative that's in you, it's going to come back and be your demise. It'll come back and destroy you. He said, just like Esau, he did the things that was negative in him. He never cared about actually getting right with the Most High. He only cared about his flesh.
When he lost.
Read.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat.
Damn. This man didn't care about his relationship with the Father and what the Most High had as a benefit for him, as a birthright. He didn't care about that. Read.
Who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance.
Because he found no place of what?
Repentance.
He didn't want to change, bro. That's what the Most High knew about Esau. He wasn't going to change. He only cried because he lost something. He wasn't crying because he was trying to repent. He only cried because he lost something.
Right.
It wasn't about change. Because you know what Esau said when he found out his brother took his birthright? He said, well, if my father died, I'm going to do what? I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill him.
That's a whole different spirit right there.
That's a whole different
That wasn't
spirit.
taking the check.
No, he didn't take no check, bro. That's how the Most High knew his tears was fake. The devil's tears, like Dawiah said, those devil's tears. You ain't crying real tears. You're not crying tears of change. You only crying tears of loss.
Yeah.
But you don't even care about repentance. You don't care about reformation, reforming yourself. Real reformation is when you turn 180 degrees from your direction. You're not even the same person no more. You don't even think the same no more. You don't even got the same lust no more. You don't even got the same wants anymore. That's real reformation. You don't got the same habits no more. You don't be around the same people anymore. But that's why the Most High knew Esau was phony. The Most High said, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I what?
Hated.
Man, he hate that spirit, man. He hate that spirit that's in that man. So, let's finish this real quick and get back to Jotham.
All right. This is right here. It says, however, it certainly reflects a great deal of blame upon the people that they did not do what they might have done to improve the advantages of so good a reign.
So it shows you that the people had a good leader in front of them, but they still didn't want to recognize or emulate or duplicate the positive aspects of the person in front of them. They still couldn't see the good of Jotham, being that his heart was right in front of them. They still wanted to do what they wanted to do, and Jotham wasn't courageous enough to go check the people and remove their sin from them. You know, that was a mistake on his behalf. But let's go back and finish that. Now let's go back to 2 Chronicles chapter 27. We had to bring this point out. I don't think we could have skipped this point right here, because it's too critical when you're analyzing rulership, and you're looking at mistakes that rulers made and mistakes that people made. The things written aforetime was written for our learning. We learn from these things. We learn from these stories. We learn from these situations. We learn from the mistakes that our predecessors made before us. All right, let's get that. We're in 2 Chronicles chapter 27. Let's read verse 2.
2 Chronicles chapter 27, verse 2. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Most High, according to all that his father Uzziah did.
So yes, Jotham duplicated the good of his father, Make sure he didn't imitate the bad. Read on.
Howbeit, he entered not into the temple of the Most High.
He didn't make those same mistakes. Read on.
And the people did yet corruptly.
But the people still did corruptly. Now, I want to get what they did in particular. I think we're gonna have to go to Kings real quick. Yeah, let's go to 2 Kings, chapter 15, and let's start at verse 32.
2 Kings chapter 15, verse 32.
All right, let everybody get it. So we're showing how a good man King Jotham was. He was a good man. He had a good father, but he saw his father's mistakes that he dared not to duplicate, to make sure he didn't duplicate. But there was some leniency in allowing his congregation or his nation, his subjects, to perform idolatry. And he allowed them to corrupt themselves, and that was bad on his behalf. Let's prove that. Let's go to 2 Kings 15, start at verse 32. Let's read that.
2 Kings chapter 15, verse 32. In the second year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, began Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, to reign. 25 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jerusha, the daughter of Zadok. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Most High. He did according to all that his father Uzziah had done. Howbeit the high places were not removed.
Howbeit what?
Howbeit the high places were not removed.
And if you haven't been in class long enough, what were those high places that he didn't remove?
The places.
Say it again. Yeah, we barely hear you.
Sacrifices, where they were doing the sacrifices.
Yeah, well, but sacrifices to who?
To their own.
No,
their own gods.
Their own other gods. Other gods.
Other powers, not the most.
Our people, specifically, heavily on the northern kingdom side, heavily worship idols and set up altars. We had a whole class dedicated to the high places. If you haven't seen it, go back on YouTube and go back and check out a Shabbat class that we did on just the high places alone. How the Most High gave us an altar to burn, do our sacrifices on, according to the law, made out of shittim wood, covered, I believe, in brass, and it was a specific look that the altar had. But what we did was we went and created our own altars, and when you look at, especially in Perth or Petra, in these particular high places, we even went as far as putting idols next to the sacrifice. So as the animals was being slain, it was done in honor of that idol, whether it was Marduk, or whether it was Molech, whether it was Chahun, whether it was whatever deity that was popular at that time, deities of Babylon, whether it was Ashtoreth, Asherah. We did sacrifice to these actual deities, and some of them was actually child sacrifice, which we're going to read about in a little bit too, that they was guilty of this as well. So when you look at Jotham, good man, good heart, feared the Most High, but he was lenient to the people, and he didn't tear down what the people observed. He didn't tear down what the people cared about. He didn't tear down what the people was loose in, which was in their worship. He didn't tighten up their worship. He wasn't giving ultimatums. Like, no, man, y'all just got to serve the Most High. It's not going to be, we're not going to serve 15 gods in this land of Israel.
Only one God.
It's only one God, bro. And only one God we're going to serve. You're not going to have your own personal deity, your own personal place of worship, your own form of observance to whatever the hell you want to serve. It's only one power. Too lenient. That was a mistake. Read on.
2 Kings 15 and 35. Howbeit the high places were not removed. The people sacrificed and burned incense still.
And you know what those incense were. Historically, we know those incense was what? Weed. That was weed, bro. Mm-hmm. Weed's not new.
Yeah, foreign herbs.
It was weed, bro.
It was weed.
It's weed, bro. Ganja is a East Indian deity.
Cannabis.
Ganja.
God.
The name ganja. Ganja is an East Indian deity.
Con.
And the way you pay homage to ganja is you smoke weed, marijuana, to ganja.
It's a god.
It's a god, yes.
Wow, okay.
It's not just a name of a weed or strain.
I didn't know that.
It's a god.
God.
And the way that you observe submission, you pay homage and submit yourself to this god. You smoke weed, but our people serve this god called ganja out of ignorance, because they don't even know I'm burning this to who?
To another god.
Because that's what you do when you observe this East Indian god.
And I got go to it real
Yeah,
quick.
go ahead, please.
Times of Israel, first high. This is the actual article. First high. Ancient Israelites at biblical shrine used cannabis to spark ecstasy.
To do what?
To spark ecstasy.
Because what do our people think the weed does? They think it's spiritual. They think I'm getting high.
Takes you to another place.
I'm getting high. I'm getting so high I can talk to the Most High.
Right.
They think that because my mind is getting high, that I'm being spiritual by getting high.
You're in the spiritual.
Benjamin, our brothers in Jamaica and the West Indies, they're
heavy on that one.
They heavy on the ganja. They heavy on the marijuana, because they even go as far as saying that God planted that in the earth for us. That was a special plant that God put down in the earth for us to enjoy, to celebrate the Most High. Because that's part of that Rastafarianism. Yes, sis, you had a question?
Yeah, where I work, I work for BB for Health. So I get a lot of adults that come in, on the influence, and they start claiming that they're the Most High or Christ.
They start claiming that they're what?
The Most High or Christ.
They start claiming, they get high, and they claim that they're the Most High in Christ?
Yes. And they tell us, you better watch who you're talking to. Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh.
They are the Most High.
Yeah,
They're not the Most High.
That is so hilarious.
Wow.
Scriptures and all kinds
Wow,
of
man.
stuff.
If that's not bold, if that's not idolatrous, I don't know what is.
The most highest.
Man, Ezekiel, real quick. Ezekiel 34. Let me get this real quick. Let me get there.
I got to read this right.
Yeah, no, I want you to read it. I want you to read it. I just want to get this point real quick. Yeah, that's a. Yeah, that's a.
Yeah, the spirit.
Ezekiel 34.
It started verse 29. Ezekiel chapter 34. Start at verse 29.
29. Okay.
Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 29.
This is some of the ideologies and the doctrines and the stupidity that our people follow. Read that.
Ezekiel 34, verse 29. And I will raise up for them a plant of renown.
He said, and I will raise up to them a what?
A plant of renown.
Benjamin, unfortunately, when they follow after Rastafarianism, they actually use this verse to justify weed smoke. They use this verse to justify smoking dope. They use this verse to justify basically paying homage to an East Indian god. Because we know that when slavery was outlawed, when the British outlawed slavery in the islands, they brought over the East Indians from India. And they brought the Indians in as the working class. They became the new slaves, basically. They became the new niggas. When the British brought the Indians as the working class to Jamaica and the islands, they brought with them their culture. They brought with them their God. They found out, when you actually look at cannabis, it wasn't a native tree or plant to Jamaica.
Wow.
But they found out that because the humidity, the soil, and the rain of India is in the tropical climate, subtropical climate, is very closely related to the tropical climate of Jamaica, that it grew very well. And so with them they brought raggedy clothes because they was poor. They brought dreadlocks. Jamaicans didn't have dreadlocks. They brought with them dreadlocks. They brought ganja with them. They brought the seeds, and they found that it grew well in the Jamaican climate. And they brought with them curry. And that's why, and the spices from India. And that's why Jamaica has curry.
Wow, that makes sense.
That's why they got jerk. They got brown stew chicken with the curry or the curry chicken. Curry is an East Indian spice, and they didn't just bring them curry seeds, bro. They didn't just bring turmeric and cumin seeds and cardamom seeds, bro. They brought cannabis seeds too.
I love that stuff, bro.
So with them, they brought the culture.
I like the food. I thought it was.
Yeah, it ain't just the food,
I was
bro.
giving them the credit the whole time.
Yeah, man,
it's crazy.
Hey, we just ate some Jamaican food the other day, but that Jamaican food, that's them spices. That spice come from India, bro.
That ain't even there.
So these yeah, that's crazy. With the food came the weed and the dreadlocks. Hey, you got to study it for yourself. And then with the idea and the lie that the Most High gave us this, because people always like to justify their sin. They always want to justify sin. There's no justification for sin. I'm gonna find a way to make this okay. You can't find a way to make that okay. It's never been okay. It's never been acceptable. It's always been polluted. It's always been defiled. The Most High always been against it. Read that again.
Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 29. And I will raise up for them a plant of renown.
And our people really think that plant of renown that we read in the Bible is actually weed. Because we want to justify sin. Read on.
And they shall be no more consumed.
It said, and they shall be no more consumed. Read on.
With hunger in the land.
So now you know damn well weed don't satisfy hunger. It actually increases what? So you know it's not weed.
It gives you the motion.
Yeah. You know it's not weed. It does the opposite. It does the opposite. That's how you know it's not. But when he's talking about that plant of renown, what was he actually talking about? Go to Isaiah chapter 27, verse 6.
Okay. Isaiah chapter 27, verse 6. Let me go ahead and read it away.
No, let's wait everybody get it.
Okay. Isaiah 44 is good too.
And you know what? When you show our people this, because they don't read it, they just hear about it because somebody told them that it's in the Bible, and they hear about it, but they don't actually read it. You show it to them, they are shocked. Oh my goodness! It say plant of renown. Yeah, it do say plant of renown, but is that what he was talking about? Go to Isaiah 27 and 6.
Isaiah chapter 27, verse 6. He shall cause them that come of Jacob.
They said, who is he talking about?
Jacob.
He's talking about Jacob. Jacob is who?
Israel.
The children of Israel, the forefather of the children of Israel. He said it's going to cause Jacob to what?
To take root.
Oh, wait a minute. Are we talking about smoke weed?
No.
He's going to cause Jacob to do what?
To take root.
And what else?
Israel.
And Israel, the children of Israel, go ahead.
Shall blossom.
They shall what?
Oh,
blossom.
Man, they want to read the rest of the scripture.
Yeah. So who is he talking about? That plant of renown. When the Most High talk about a plant of renown, a tree, he gonna plant a tree that people can follow, to be esteemed, to be recognized and exalted as great. Was he talking about some drugs? He was talking about the children of Israel. Read.
Israel shall blossom.
And what?
And bud.
No, he's talking about other bud.
And bud.
Seed, red bud.
Israel shall blossom and bud.
Red hair.
Israel shall blossom and bud.
Man, he got to be talking about some other strain of bud.
Israel shall blossom and bud.
Man, I don't even know no other strain. I don't even know strains like that. And neither he talking about purple haze, and I don't even care to know about all that, because that ain't what the Most High is talking about when he's talking about planting a plant of renown. He's talking about a people that's supposed to be exalted and followed around the earth. Read.
Israel shall blossom and bud.
Go ahead.
And fill the face of the world with fruit.
And the fruit is their actions, man, and their righteousness. Spreading weed is not spreading love.
Wow.
Getting high is not what the Most High intended. But you know what? When you adopt another culture's gods, when you adopt another culture's way of life, and you adopt another culture's way of worship, you're going to pick up their deities too. You're going to pick up their demons. That weed is a demon. That's a devil. And that's what it's been for our people. Because our people have tried to associate that with spirituality. And that don't associate you with spirituality. Not at all. That, matter of fact, that disconnects you from spirituality. From the Most High Spirit. But you can't tell our people that. Our people are too attached to that. Alright? Now, let that go and let's go back to where we were in Chronicles. No, we was in 2 Kings.
Yeah, 15.
15.
Verse 35.
Let's read that.
2 Kings chapter 15, verse 35. Howbeit the high places were not removed. The people sacrificed and burned incense still in the high places.
Now you know what them incense was. We know exactly what them incense are. We know frankincense and myrrh.
Right.
That's not the incense they was burning. They don't burn that. When they set up high places, they're worshiping other gods. Other gods require other things.
Mm-hmm.
Read.
The people sacrifice and burn incense still in the high places.
Go ahead.
He built the higher gate of the house of the Most High.
So you know what? He allowed people to be negative. He allowed people to be negative. But he also went and did some other engineering things. He was lenient on sin. He was soft on crime. But he did some other good things. He built the high gate. What else?
Verse 36. Now the rest of the acts of Jotham and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah?
All right, so now let's go back to Chronicles. 2 Chronicles, back chapter 27. And let's pick up on
you want 2 again?
Yeah, 2 again.
2 Chronicles chapter 27 verse 2. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Most High, according to all that his father Uzziah did. Howbeit he entered not into the temple of the Most High, and the people did yet corrupt it. He built the high gate of the house of the Most High, and on the wall of Ophel he built much.
Go ahead.
Moreover, he built cities in the mountains of Judah.
So yes, the man was very industrious, but where did he get it from? His father. Because King Uzziah was industrious. King Uzziah was military minded. He was industrious. He had an engineering mind frame. He followed in the footsteps of his father initially. He just made sure he didn't duplicate the pride of his father, but he was soft on crime. Read.
Verse 4. Moreover, he built cities in the mountains of Judah, and in the forest he built castles and towers.
That's beautiful, man. For anybody that's traveled overseas, for anybody that's been like to Germany or Switzerland or Transylvania, when you go to Europe, you see them damn castles hanging off the mountainside. It look like you're in a movie. It don't even look real. It look like a fake postcard. But that's how beautiful it is when you making castles off the edge of a cliff, bro. That's beautiful. That's to be esteemed. You know, so it's magnificent. It takes time. It's an architectural marvel. But that ain't easy to do, and it's expensive. But that don't mean you're righteous. And it don't do nothing if you're not righteous. And if you don't implore the people next to you to be righteous. No matter how big the camp is, your school is, your programs are, the beauty of it on the outside, right. But the people inside gotta be up to speed with the Most High. They gotta be right. Read on.
Verse 5. He fought also with the king of the Ammonites.
Go ahead.
And prevailed against them.
Go ahead.
And the children of Ammon gave him the same year 100 talents of silver and 10,000 measures of wheat.
So they had to pay tribute, man. He taxed the other nations. Paid 100 talents of silver, 10,000 measures of wheat. Read on.
And 10,000 of barley.
Go ahead.
So much did the children of Ammon pay unto him. both the second year and the third.
Man, he put that on a yearly tax, bro. Put him on a yearly tax, bro. You gonna feed us?
I have resources.
Yeah. Read on.
So Jotham became mighty.
Go ahead.
Because he prepared his ways before the Most High, his power.
He says because he prepared his ways before the Most High what?
His power.
What does that mean?
Most High was the driving force behind everything he did.
He put the Most High first. He honored the Most High before any of his other endeavors. He put the Most High before any of his endeavors. He had the Most High in mind with everything he did.
That's right. Just like for us, we got to put the Most High first in all of our endeavors. That's what made him successful. The Most High was premier. He was number one. The Most High was the focus. It wasn't his own personal gains. The Most High was always number one. You know why? Because go to Amos real quick. Go to Amos chapter 4 verse 12 real quick.
Amos chapter 4 verse 12.
No, let everybody get it. Mm-hmm. Read that.
Amos chapter 4 verse 12. Therefore, thus will I do unto thee, O Israel.
He said, that's why the Most High said, listen, y'all gotta listen to me. Go ahead.
And because I would do this unto thee,
go ahead.
Prepare to meet thy power.
He says, you always gotta prepare to meet who?
To meet thy power.
You gotta live your life knowing that you gotta answer to who?
Your power.
You gotta answer to the Most High. You're not gonna live on this earth forever. Your body will not be residing on this terrestrial plane forever. Your body will transcend out of its fleshly corpse, go back to the dirt, disintegrate, but your spirit got to go to who?
The Most High.
And who you going to answer to?
The Most High.
And the Most High is going to question you. Will you put me first? He said that's how you got to live your life, in preparation to meet the Most High. So when you look at King Jotham, he was always preparing his heart towards the Most High, putting his best intentions first to serve the Most High, not himself. Let that go and go back to where we was at in Chronicles.
So would you say we lose sight of that reality?
Oh yeah, we do easily. You know what our people do? We taste a little bit of success, things start going our way, and the Most High becomes second, third, fourth on the list.
Exactly.
Our personal plans and endeavors, they start taking the sole role and the principal role of our focus. I got to finish what I started. You know, I went down this path, so I'm gonna live out this path first, and then I'm this pursuit of happiness, and then if that don't work, then I'll fall back on the Lord. The Lord will be my plan B. Okay, well, the Lord is plan B. Okay, or you know, if it's too late, if it ain't too late, I can always just humble down the Most High. He's always gonna be there.
Right.
He'll be there when I need him. But right now, I got to get to the money. Right now, I got to get to this pursuit. I got to get to this career. I got to get to this. My mind been focused on this. I've been trying to bake this cake, and I got to bake this cake, and I got to see it through.
At all costs.
At all costs. And that's what we do. A lot of things will make the Most High His pleasure second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever. And we say, well, you know, he'll be there when I need him. I'll get back to him.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. Let me
back in a second.
Hold on a second. Let me tell this brother something real quick. Okay, so go back to the other scripture where we was at in Chronicles.
Second Chronicles chapter 27 verse 6. So Jotham became mighty because he prepared his ways before the Most High his power.
Read on.
Now the rest of the acts of Jotham and all his wars and his ways, lo, they are written in the book of the kings of Israel and Judah.
Go ahead.
He was 25 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. And Jotham slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David.
Man, he didn't really live that long.
And Ahaz, his son. Oh, sorry.
That's it. Hold on.
Oh,
Stop right there. We're gonna go to Josephus real quick. If you don't have one, come get one if you can, brother. You want to pass them out?
No problem.
We're gonna go to Josephus chapter 9. I mean chapter 9, book 9, chapter 11, paragraph 2. We're going to Josephus.
Page 261. Page 261.
Chapter
The water, sir. 261.
It's book 9, chapter 11, paragraph 2.
Page 261.
The second paragraph where it starts, now Jotham.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's get that.
Josephus, book 9, chapter 11, paragraph 2, line 236. Page 261. Now Jotham, the son of Uzziah, reigned over the tribe of Judah in Jerusalem, being a citizen thereof by his mother, whose name was Jerusha. This king was not defective in any virtue.
Man, he said this king was not what?
This king was not defective in any virtue.
Damn. He said this king was not defective in any virtue. Now, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8 verse 7 says what?
Yeah.
It's Apocrypha. Let's go to Apocrypha real quick. Because for those that have it.
Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 7, page 62.
Let's go to Apocrypha, page 62.
Page 62. Let me read it.
All right. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8 verse 7. Let's get that.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 8 verse 7. And if a man love righteousness,
if you care about serving the Most High like Jotham did, read on.
Her labors are virtues.
These are the works that you're accumulating. You're trying to acquire virtues. Virtues are spiritual strengths that most people sleep on, that have no idea that they're important and necessary in life or to serve the Most High. We think that money, because the scriptures say money is a defense, we think that money is enough to satisfy us in life and pull us closer to the Most High. Freedom, liberty, studying, that's great. But there's virtues that are also important if you care about righteousness, if you care about serving the Most High. Most people sleep on these virtues. They sleep on these attributes, and these attributes are strengths. Read on.
Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 7. And if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues, for she teacheth temperance.
So if I care about righteousness, I'm going to try to learn what?
Temperance.
What is temperance? Patience.
Tolerance. Like, forbearance, tolerance.
Forbearance.
Unwavering.
Yeah.
So what else? What's another word?
Endurance.
Not being calm under pressure. Not being extreme.
Calm.
Being cool-minded. Cool in mind. In a form of meekness. It's a form of meekness. Meekness being patient, enduring injury patiently without resentment, right? But temperance is, I know how to keep a calm mind under pressure. Self-control, self-restraint.
The ability to make rational decisions under
Right.
pressure.
Yeah, I don't just react. I'm not reactionary. I don't just react to something that doesn't go my way.
Or panic.
I'll panic. I know I can restrain myself. Temperance. What else?
And prudence.
Prudence is what? Prudence.
Cautiousness. Right?
Yeah, prudence is a sagacity. It's a sagacity, but get the definition of sagacity.
Okay. Sagacity. Quickness or acuteness of sin. Excuse me, let me number 2. Quickness or acuteness of discernment.
It says quickness or acuteness of what?
Of discernment.
So you know how to make quick, rational decisions. That means you're not violent, you're not agitated, you're not explosive, you're not emotional, you're not out of control. He says your decision making is quick. You know, to have discernment means you know how to separate good and bad decisions, which is an object of morality. That's what morality is all about. I have morals, so my morals won't allow me to behave a certain way. I won't get out of bounds because I have this discernment. I understand that this reaction will have this reaction. I don't just react. I'm not explosive. I'm just not out of control. I'm not just animal. You push my buttons, you piss me off, so now I just had to blow up on you. No. Sagacity is different. It's when you know how to discern how to make the right move and what that move will lead you to. Read it again.
Quickness or acuteness of discernment. Readiness of apprehension.
It says readiness of what?
Apprehension.
So I know what's going to happen if I act a certain way. So I'm already, my discernment will know that if I make this decision, if I respond like this is going to be the end result. It allows me to see downrange. It allows me to see the consequences of my actions without even doing it first, without giving into it first. I can see the dangers in it. All right, that's good. Go ahead.
The faculty of readily discerning and distinguishing ideas and of separating truth from falsehood.
Exactly. That's what sagacity is. That's what prudence is. It is a caution, but it's a discernment based upon. I understand. I've already analyzed what the result of this is going to be if I behave a certain way. I've already thought about it. I've already seen it. This is not going to end well. Read on. That's a virtue. Yeah, that's the next virtue. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And prudence, justice, and fortitude.
Justice is equity, to be fair across the board, but it's also it means to be impartial. So if my judgment, in my judgment, I'm treating everybody fair, I'm not partial to sin. I'm not partial because I like this person more than this person, so I'm going to automatically agree with this person because me and this person get along better. But I don't really get along with that person, so my judgment towards them is I'm already automatically thinking this person's guilty. Or this person is I'm going to treat this person different because I don't agree with this person. I'm not going off real true judgment. I'm not using justice. So I'm impartial in my judgment. I'm not impartial in my judgment. That's what justice is. I'm not impartial. That means I don't pick favorites. I look at everything on an even scale. I judge people based upon their actions. I don't automatically assume guilt on a person. I don't automatically assume negative on people. Or if I favor somebody, then that person must be wrong. Yeah, no, that's it. Keep going.
And fortitude.
And what?
Fortitude.
And what's fortitude? Strength of mind. Strength of mind and endurance. It's firmness of mind, strength of mind, and endurance. I can endure a lot of things for a long time. And I'm not afraid. I have no fear. Very, very similar to courage. When you look at the definition of courage. Fortitude and courage go hand in hand. They're very similar. A little different though. But he's showing you that these are virtues. And when you look at Jotham, King Jotham, he was not defective in any virtue. None. This man possessed all these virtues. That's something that we need to be esteeming.
It says fortitude is the source of courage.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like that. So let's go back to Josephus.
Book 9, chapter 11, paragraph 2, page 261. This king was not defective in any virtue, but was religious towards the Most High.
He was what?
He was religious towards the Most High.
Go ahead.
And righteous towards men, and careful of the good of the city.
And he was what?
Careful of the good of the city.
Read on.
For what part soever wanted to be repaired or adorned, he magnificently repaired and adorned them.
So did he walk by chaos?
Wow.
What kind of man walks by chaos? I mean, I got a nasty ass house. I see all them dishes in the sink. I see all the clothes on the floor. I see all the grime in the toilet in the tub. I see all the mold growing. I see all the crumbs, and I just walk right past it. I see the weeds sticking up in the grass, and I look at it. I see the spider webs in the corner. They looking at me. I'm looking at them. I see the dust bunnies accumulating like tumbleweeds under the bed, rolling across the floor when you cut the fan on. It's just the dust bunny just rolling, walking across the floor. But I see it. I can't even say cities because we don't have cities. But you at least got an apartment. You at least got a bedroom. You at least got a crib. So we got to look at it on that level. You got somewhere to stay. You stay somewhere. He said, but this man, when he saw a problem, he didn't just walk past it as if it wasn't there. He didn't just deny the fact that that's breaking down. You see the damn crack. You see the splits. You see the weeds. You see the grime. You see the filth. You see the dirt. You see them damn clothes piling up 50 times high. I get to it later. I get on it on next week. I catch up to it next week. Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs. Chapter 12, verse 27. Let's read that. Shows you, we're taking a look inside the mind of King Jotham. That's what we're doing. If we're going to check out his virtues and check out what's good about it.
Proverbs chapter 12, verse 27.
Read that.
Proverbs chapter 12, verse 27. The slothful man.
It said what?
The slothful man.
Who walks by something that's breaking down?
The slothful man.
Who walks by crumbs?
The slothful man.
Who walks by clothes piled up?
The slothful man.
Who walks by filth?
The slothful man.
Who walks by weeds?
The slothful man.
Who walks by dirt?
The slothful man.
Yeah, just spider webs collecting.
The slothful man.
Dust all over everything.
The slothful man.
You look at them blinds, you open them blinds up, and you coughing.
That's good.
The slothful man.
You know it. You crack them blinds, because all the dust on the blinds. You don't even want to really touch it to agitate it.
The slothful man.
He said the slothful man do that. Do what?
The slothful man roasteth not that which he took in hunting.
So this man will go out and get food, and the food will get old before he cook it. That food is spoiled. You let that damn hamburger meat been at the bottom tray of the refrigerator for too long.
Great waster.
Yeah, now you smelling the meat like, man, maybe I could just
Great waster.
hey, maybe I could just cut the green off the steak. Just cut the blue off. Cut the green off. And then just cook it real good. Just cook it real good. Just chop that green part or cut that green part off. He said a slothful man do what?
Roasteth not that which he took in hunting.
Have your refrigerator go bad because you're too lazy to cook it. Have the food go to waste. That's how slothful people operate. They don't take advantage. They don't care about what the Most High give them. That's what it shows. It shows you don't care about what the Most High gave you. If you're not maintaining what the Most High gave you, then you don't care about what the Most High gave you. You know how the Most High know? Because you take care of it. It's not that you're worshiping it, but you maintain it. That's how you show you appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Read it again.
Verse 27. The slothful man roasteth not that which he took in hunting.
Go ahead.
But the substance of a diligent man.
It said, but what the Most High gives me, and what I know the Most High didn't have to give me, but He gave me. He said, the substance, what belongs to me, the things the Most High blessed me with. He says what?
But the substance of a diligent man is precious.
It's what?
Is precious.
So you know what? I may not have a big yard, but the little yard I got is what?
Precious.
So I'm going to take care of it. I don't have a big house, but the little house I got is what?
Precious.
I got a bedroom. I got roommates, but my room is what?
Precious.
It's going to be clean. I got a small kitchen. I got 500 square feet. But you know what? Inside is what?
Precious.
I got a little car. It's a little old. It ain't brand new, but it's what?
Precious.
You know what? I take care of everything the Most High gives me. The Most High blessed me with it. I take care of it. You know, I don't just abuse it, disdain it, and hate it, and expect the Most High to bless me with more. No, it don't work like that. Most High ain't bless you with more. You ain't getting more because you're not responsible. You're not accountable. You show the Most High you don't care. Same thing with Same thing with everything. It's not just items and substance. It's the same thing with families. Families, ribs, husbands, kids, children, brotherhood. I don't care about brotherhood. So I abuse the brothers. I talk ill to the brothers around me because I don't look at them as what?
Precious.
I don't look at them as precious. So I got a mouth. I got a negative opinion towards the brothers. You don't understand the beauty of what the Most High gave you. You don't value what He put you around. You don't value the wisdom that the Most High is allowing you to receive. But you're looking at everybody negative because everybody's not precious to you. Got a negative outlook. Partially because you have no justice. Because you're impartial in your judgment. It's not true judgment. The Bible says, judge ye true judgment. Because you don't look at things the right way. Because you lack that virtue of justice, you can't see things the right way. You see things the wrong way. That's why those virtues are so critical. Yes, sir.
I was just going to add, so when you consistently take for granted what the Most High has blessed you with, what He's given you, why should He continue to give you more?
Absolutely. He said if you found faithful over a few things, He make you what?
Make you masters over much.
Makes you rule over much, or masters over much. So how the Most High determines what He gives you is how you take care of it.
Okay.
You see men get ribs, crap on them. But expect, like Nino Brown, cancel that. I give me another one. Okay. It's that easy, huh? It's that easy, huh? Just cancel that. You've been watching TV too much. Yeah. You just gonna pour champagne on her and just get you another one, buy you another one? Okay, Nino Brown. You watching TV, bro. You've been watching too many characters. Because that's what our people do.
That's true, though.
They do.
That's true.
You see brothers get new cars, but they old, but they drive them like crazy because they don't really care about it, because it ain't brand new. If you wouldn't take care of the old one, what makes the Most High think you'll take care of the new one? You dogged the old one to the ground. You ran it to the dirt. And He's supposed to expect that He gonna give you something else? You ran brotherhood to the dirt. You didn't care. You despised the men that the Most High gave you to work around. You despised those men. You hated those men. You didn't see the good of those men. But the Most High is supposed to give you another group of men that you're going to appreciate according to your liking. But you showed Him He despised what He put you around, what He put you around, and what He gave you. Yeah, right. Nice try. That's going to be might be a long time coming. Read that again.
Proverbs chapter 12, verse 27. The slothful man roasteth not that which he took in hunting, but the substance of a diligent man is precious.
It's what?
It's precious.
It's precious, man. That's what Jotham had, this mind frame. You could see his mind. Ecclesiastes in the Bible, chapter 10, verse 18.
Page 76.
Ecclesiastes, not Ecclesiastes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ecclesiastes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
10 and 18?
10 and
18?
Yeah, 10 and 18.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 18. By much slothfulness.
By what?
By much slothfulness.
Go ahead.
The building decayeth.
What happens? Who allows, or what spirit allows the building to fall apart?
Slothfulness.
A slothful spirit. A man don't have no motor. He don't got no engine. He don't got no zeal. There's nothing important. It's not important enough for him to get off his behind and make it work and fix it. I just walk past it. I see the problem. I just walk past it. Jotham don't do that, man. Jotham saw the problem in the city and he solved the problem. He saw the issues and he cared enough about the issues to make a change.
He's a great leader.
He invested into what the Most High made him ruler over. He made an investment in it.
It's powerful.
But this is what he said. Read it again.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 18. By much slothfulness the building decayeth.
Go ahead.
And through idleness.
And through what?
And through idleness.
What is idleness?
Wasting time.
I'm not doing nothing. Just sitting down, chilling. I'm not productive. I'm just chilling. Because I want to chill. I value chilling over being accountable and responsible. I like to kick back a little bit, rest my feet, kick my feet up.
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna chill a little bit. I could get busy, but I'd rather really not get busy because I value my free time, my personal time, my chill time.
Liberty.
My liberty. I value that more than I care about the things the Most High gave me. He says through slothfulness, the building decayed, and through idleness, what happens?
And through idleness of the hands.
Of the what?
Of the hands.
The word hand in Hebrew is what?
Your work.
Yad.
Yad.
Yad means what in Hebrew?
It's a word. Hand.
It means power. Yes. That's what Yad means. Yad means power or strength.
Okay.
So what your hands represent your what?
Strength.
Your strength.
Yeah.
Your hands represent your power. But a man that's idle, he don't do nothing with he don't use his strength. He don't use what the Most High gave him for power. He don't use his strength. So then what happens? Read on.
And through idleness of the hands, the house droppeth through.
Damn, because you don't want to get up on that roof. The roof cave in on you. Because you don't want to maintain it. That means that, and I hate to say this, but I have family members once again that there's certain places in the house that you couldn't step. If you didn't have no light on, the house was on a pier and beam.
Oh, man.
And if you miscalculated your step, you would fall 3 feet to the ground. And I had, once again, some uncles, and I hate to bring it up, but you got good examples in life, you got bad examples in life. Where the uncle tell you, don't step right there. When you come in the house, don't walk right there, don't step right there. Why can't you step right there? First of all, he got cardboard over it. Cardboard is not going to stop a human body from sinking through the floor. Don't step right there. Step around that. Boy, you see that cardboard right there? Like I'm supposed to know that cardboard is supposed to. I'm supposed to know that cardboard is an actual floor. Boy, you see that cardboard right there? Come on, man. I'm supposed to see that. I'm supposed to know that that's what that means.
That means no step.
That means no step right there. But then I had some other uncles. When you go in the kitchen, and I hate to say it, but you can see outside. You can see outside from the kitchen. The kitchen had a sunroof.
Man, it's gonna rain on your head. Get a bucket.
Yeah, and I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
The kitchen had a sunroof, and initially it was small, and they just put a tarp over it, as if the tarp was sufficient enough as an instrument, a long-term solution to solve the fact that you have a hole in your roof. Eventually, it got 3 feet wide. They put a I don't know if y'all know the old washing machines. They don't even for young generation. They might not have even seen them before. The old school washing machines used to have a bowl at the top. They used to have a bowl. They used to have a bowl at the top. There was a big round bowl at the top of the washing machine. He put the washing machine under the hole in the roof to catch the water. That was supposed to catch the water. So the hole got bigger than that, so the washing machine fell through the floor. So now you got a hole in the roof. Now you got a hole in the floor. In the kitchen. That's a different uncle. So he said, read it again. I know I be putting my family on blast like that, but hey, you got good examples in life, and you got bad examples in life. Right? The most I said, those are for lessons, man. Those are for warnings. You have warnings in your life. You live like that, and you ignore a problem, and the problem gets bigger. Read.
Ecclesiastes 10 and 18. By much slothfulness, the building decayeth.
Go ahead.
And through idleness of the hands.
And through what?
And through idleness of the hands.
Go ahead.
The house droppeth through.
Yeah, damn, and I've seen it. The house dropped through. Because you don't want to fix the problem when you see the problem. You don't take initiative. King Jotham was different. He saw problems in the city, just didn't walk by the problems, man. The gate falling over, he fix it. I know I put myself on blast. I watched my gate fall. You know what? I could have did something. I was talking about the other day. I could have did so. That gate fell for about 2 years. I didn't want to do nothing. I can say it wasn't the money, but yeah, 2x4s. Come on, it ain't that expensive. Read that. Read on.
A feast is made.
No. Let me get another one more on this point, just to finish this point up. Ecclesiastes in Apocrypha, chapter 38, verse 9. Let's get the Apocrypha, Ecclesiastes chapter 38. Just one more on this point right here, to show what the mind frame, how potent the king Jotham was. Ecclesiastes chapter 38, verse 9.
Page 93.
Page 93 in the Apocrypha.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 38, verse 9. My son, in thy sickness.
So a lot of times, being accountable, taking initiative, not seeing a problem and sitting on it, it goes beyond just physical substance. It also goes when you got a spiritual or physical problem. When you got spiritual or physical problems, do you just sit on it and be idle with your spiritual problems? Are you idle and slothful with your physical and spiritual problems? Everybody got issues, physically and spiritually. But what do you do about it? Do you just watch your problem, or do you get out and fight against whatever is ailing you physically or mentally? Do you just sit back and just let your mind indulge in the worst possible thoughts, or do you actually go out and try to alter your thoughts and be positive? Do you watch your health decline, but you just watch yourself go downhill, or do you actually go out and fight against yourself going downhill? It's not just in the physical substance do men become slothful. It's problems as well, spiritual and mental and physical issues they can be slothful at. He said, my son, read.
My son, in thy sickness.
Do what?
Be not negligent.
Be not slothful and idle. Go ahead.
But pray unto the Most High, and He will make thee whole.
So what does your prayer life look like? Are you idle with your prayer life? Do you not spend enough time in meditation and prayer and exalting the Most High? How's your prayer life? Because you know what? Some people's prayer life is slothful too. Some people's prayer life is idle. They don't kneel enough. They don't humble themselves down enough. They don't pay homage to the Most High enough. The Most High will be there when I need Him. It's on a need to have basis. If the situation is bad enough, then I might pray. I got to have a reason to pray. Or I'll wait till I'm sick. Or I'll wait till something's wrong.
Yeah.
Then I'll pray.
Some kind of trouble.
Yeah, I'll wait till I'm in some type of trouble. My back's against the wall. Then I'll acknowledge the Most High. See, people treat their substance the same way they treat the Most High. They treat their yard like they treat their relationship with the Father. I just let it grow weeds.
When it gets bad enough.
I treat my house, my vehicles, my everything that I have as a substance. I treat it like I treat the Most High. It's there. I use it. It ain't that important until I need it. And when I need it, then I'll reach out to it. There's idleness everywhere. There's idleness everywhere, not just in physical maintenance. In spiritual maintenance, there's people that are idle as well. There's idleness in that as well. So let's get back to Jotham. Let that go. I think there was enough on that point. Let's go to book 9, chapter 11, paragraph 2, and we're in line 237.
Okay. Line 237. For what part soever wanted to be repaired or adorned.
It says, so whatsoever part needed to be repaired or adorned, decorated, read on.
He magnificently repaired and adorned them.
So we know he wasn't slothful. We know he wasn't idle. We know his substance was precious to him. We know he had virtues. He had justice. He had fortitude. He had piety. He had all these things. Temperance, read on.
He also took care of the foundations of the cloisters in the temple.
The foundation of the cloisters are those pillars,
right,
in the temple. He made sure he didn't let them pillars get old. The foundation breaks and cracks. And you know what? Some of us do nothing when we see that foundation is not right. We'll rather put a rug over a problem.
Yeah.
Just put a rug on it. That's how we do everything, man. Just put a sheet on it, put a rug on it.
Sweep it under the rug.
Sweep it under the rug. You know, down where the towel broke, that wood been waterlogged a long time ago. You know, the foundation jacked up. Just throw a rug over it. It'll be all right. We'll have a hole in the wall. Put a picture over it.
That's true.
Just put that picture right there over that hole. We ain't gonna fix the hole. We just gonna put a big old picture over it.
They won't see it.
They don't see nothing.
Until some bugs crawl off.
Yeah. You have a hole in the wall. You just put the couch. You just put the couch where the hole is at. You know what I'm saying? Sit the couch against it. You know what I'm saying? You got it. Your stairs falling through. You just walk around the hole in the stair. Don't step right there. That's what we do. We're not in the mind frame of being accountable and attacking an issue immediately. Don't wait when it comes to problems. That's a beautiful virtue to have. That's a strength. To have a mind frame to fix all my issues when I see it. I don't let no issues prolong itself to get worse. That's a virtue. That's a beautiful thing in itself. Yes, sir.
Does that start to create that unmoldable, like I guess spirit, like how it refers to us being as like clay?
Right. That hard, that clay get hard.
Yeah.
Like you can't. It's not. It becomes inflexible.
That tends to happen when we aren't working on our issues, like from the get go.
Right. The problems get stiffer. They do get firmer, and a person does, their heart grows harder. They become inflexible. They can't be told anything. They can't be adjusted, because they're not in the mind frame of adjusting and fixing things from the jump. Right when I have opportunity. When I see something wrong about myself, because it's one thing physically. We can talk about the physical aspect of being responsible for what you own and what you possess. But what about the spiritual? That's what matters more.
Yeah.
When I got holes in my soul, and I got issues in my soul, how do I attack these things? When I got mental issues, spiritual issues, how do I go at these things? Do I think by just putting my foot off the gas, they're just going to fix itself? I think if I don't study enough, if I don't put my mind in the Bible, these things are just supposed to go away. They don't just go away. You got to attack a weakness. You got to attack an issue. It's not just the physical aspect of beautifying the things around me. A lot of people put makeup on things, but do I fix the actual issue? I can wear black clothes because black clothes make me look slimmer. Or I can fix what? The weight. So I can keep covering something up to beautify a problem, or I can actually treat it and fix it and repair it. But to fix something, especially when it's gotten out of hand, is much more harder than it is just to cover it up and put a band-aid on it. But if you actually get in the mind frame and re-gear, recalibrate your mind, readjust your thinking to where now I know I got holes in my soul. So what do I do with them? Do I let them go, or do I start attacking these issues right now? That's what makes a good king, man. That's why we're looking at King Jotham and what was good about him. He let no problems go unsolved. He took initiative. Read on.
He also took care of the foundation of the cloisters in the temple and repaired the walls that were falling down.
Damn, bro. Do you let your life just fall apart, or you do something about it? Are you that lazy? You just let yourself fall? You just let yourself drop? Then what are you showing the Most High? That what He gave you is not that important. So why the hell should He give you more? That's one way you show the Most High that you care about what He gave you, is by the maintenance of it, by the repair of it, by the upkeep of it. Read on.
And built very great towers, and such as was almost impregnable.
He said these damn towers were almost impenetrable. You couldn't penetrate them. Like Mike Tyson defense. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And if anything else in his kingdom had been neglected.
It says if anything else in the kingdom that was neglected by his father or by anybody else, what did he do?
He took great care of it.
He did what?
He took great care of it.
Amazing, bro.
Is this hard to understand?
He appreciated it.
Exactly.
He didn't have that value.
He valued what the Most High gave him, man. It don't matter. We don't got kingdoms like that. You're not living in a castle like that. I really doubt anybody that's living in no damn castle. We living in flats, apartments, lofts, rooms, cribs, some houses. We ain't living in no castles, bro. We ain't on that. But you know what? You don't gotta have a castle to be responsible. You don't have to have a castle. You know, if you can't even prove that you can't take care of a room, why the hell would the Most High give you a castle?
Exactly.
You can't even take care of the little space He gave you.
Right.
You know? But I'm king, like I said earlier. But we kings and queens, right? Yeah, right. Read on.
Line 238. He also made an expedition against the Ammonites and overcame them in battle and ordered them to pay tribute 100 talents and 10,000 kori of wheat and as many of barley every year, and so augmented his kingdom that his enemies could not despise it.
They say, you know what? He decorated his kingdom up. He cared about his people. He cared about his nation, his culture. Read on.
And his own people lived happily.
And what happened because this man cared about the people and about the quality of life that the people was living? He said the people was happy, man.
Yeah, he inspired them. If you could say he inspired them by what he did and what they were able to see. It makes them feel a certain way, certain level of pride, righteous pride, if you will.
Well, yeah, I would say, being happy, not just pride. I don't want to say pride, but to take pride or care into what you have is good, because all it takes is one man to care. I'll give you an example. I went with a brother to buy a car from an Issacharite brother. Issachar being so-called Mexican brother. And he was selling the car, and we went to his house. I went with the brother to go pick it up. He said, man, can you come with me to pick it up, pay the guy, get the car, take a look at the car, make sure it's a good car. I said, cool. So we get to talking to the guy, and he lives in a real hostile environment. You know what I'm saying? In a hood, on the southwest side, in the hood. And that's why I went with him. But it's dangerous. We looked at the car. Car was a good deal. He got the car. But we talking to the guy. He said, yeah, man. I said, man, I looked at the neighborhood. I said, man, they must have really did. The city must have put some money in this neighborhood. He said, no. He said, I kept writing letters to the city until they gave us some mailboxes, some sidewalks, and some street lights. He said, he said, keep looking down the street. He said, I put my foot on the city's neck. Now we got mailboxes. Everybody has, and I ain't talking about no regular pole with a little, with a little mailbox that you get for $20. I'm talking about a decorative mailbox. It was his zeal and his petition and him not stopping, putting that pressure on the city, and every house on the street had beautiful mailboxes with street lights on it. Because I remember that neighborhood was dangerous, bro. Southwest side was dangerous. But on his street, you'll never know where you at. You'll never know you're in a hood on his street.
Until you get out.
Until you turn the corner. And then you go right back to the whatever it is. But you go look on the street. Go look at Highway 90. Go look at Highway 90 and Acme Road. Everybody that knows San Antonio know that wasn't no good area. So, but when you look on his street got mailboxes. They got street lights. Got the nice little curved street lights. You know what I'm saying? Look like you're in London. You got the nice little curved street lights. Nice, bro.
Wow.
But you know what? All it takes is one person that care enough.
Make enough phone calls.
Make enough phone calls. Put enough pressure. All it takes is it takes one person to care. And you know what? Now everybody benefits. Everybody's benefiting from having a well-established neighborhood. They value of their homes go up. Their quality of life, they feel better. They feel like cutting the grass now.
Yeah.
But you know, when most people see us come in our neighborhood, they say what? There goes the neighborhood. Why do they say there goes the neighborhood?
Because it's trash now. It's going to crap.
You know why?
They're running it down because of the slothfulness.
Because
they don't care.
Because you knew you had an oil leak. And you know you got to fix the oil leak. But your answer is, I'm going to put some stop leak in it. And I'm just gonna keep putting oil in it.
Stop leak,
Right.
stop leak, stop
Stop leak, stop leak, stop leak. And they don't fix the
Put a
problem.
Band-Aid on it.
I'm gonna put a Band-Aid on it. But everywhere I go in my neighborhood, I got oil all on the street, on the sidewalk. I got oil on the sidewalk. Got oil in the driveway.
In the yard.
And then eventually the car stopped working. So now I got the car, and it hasn't been working for a long, long time. It's got dirt on it, mud on it, tree sap on it.
Cobwebs on it.
It's been sitting there under the tree for a long time. It's rusting out. And I got that in the yard. Now, it's an eyesore to the neighborhood. And now, the neighbors that worked hard for their property, they don't want to live next to you because you bringing their property value down through your irresponsibility. And that's how a lot of people see us. Not all of us are that way, but a lot of us, we come with that stigma. When I say us, I'm talking about the children of Israel. We come with that stigma that when we come in the neighborhood's going to fall apart. We're not going to add value to the neighborhood because of our mindset. Our mindset is not going to add value to the neighborhood. Grass be unkept. Now you got city ordinance putting letters on your door. You got trash.
Hey, watch your finger.
You got trash hanging out. You got unkept sidewalk, broke cars, bottles, broke bottles, glass, broken glass. What we do? We killing the value. But that's a mindset. That's a mindset that's killing that. That mind frame is destructive. The problem is not them. It's how the person thinks. They don't care about being responsible. Finish that.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you're responsible, bro, you inspire other people to be responsible. You inspire other people to care. But all it takes is one. Read on.
Line 238. He also made an expedition against the Ammonites and overcame them in battle and ordered them to pay tribute, 100 talents and 10,000 kori of wheat, and as many of barley every year, and so augmented his kingdom, that his enemies could not despise it, and his own people live happily.
Yeah, when you care enough, you bring a benefit to the people around you when you start to care. But when you stop caring, you destroy and affect the people around you. Yeah.
It's like a cancer that spreads. Basically like a cancer that spreads.
Yeah.
All it takes is one or two.
Read that.
Ecclesiasticus 16:4. For by one that hath understanding shall the city be replenished.
It says by the one that have understanding, the city shall what?
The city shall be replenished.
The city shall be replenished. All it takes is one to have what?
Understanding.
So imagine if you care in your household. The household will benefit. The people around. When you start caring, everybody benefits around you when you start giving a damn. Exactly. But also, but when you don't care, you destroy the people around you. Because I don't care.
Both ways.
It goes both ways. Read? Yeah, read the rest of it.
But the kindred of the wicked shall speedily become desolate.
Yeah, it ain't going to take long before things fall apart, bro. It ain't going to take that long.
Quickly. It says speedily.
Speedily, bro.
That means we think speedily is like in 5 minutes overnight. Listen, 6 months goes by in a minute. 3 months goes by in a minute. A little, when scripture says speedily, we know 1 day is 1,000 years with the Most High. But 6 months is very fast. If 1,000 years is 1 day with the Most High, 3 months is nothing. 2 weeks is nothing.
You know what happens to people though? When people have that new feeling, that excited feeling when it's brand new, and that new feeling is gone, they stop giving a damn.
Stop caring.
Because it was just a feeling.
Kind.
They attached their feelings to it. They didn't look at it. They didn't look at what they had the right way. It was just, you know what, this thing made me feel better. So now that it's not new anymore, I gotta hop onto something else that makes me feel better. So now this is not important anymore. That's childish, like a kid. You give a child a toy, he want it, he beg for it. 50 times, man, I want the toy, I want the toy, I want the toy, I want the toy, please, 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 please. They beg for it, you give it to them, they play for it for a day or two, and then after that, they don't want it no more.
Exactly. So that feeling was the initial high.
Yeah.
And as the feeling resolves, it reduces, it becomes a normalcy.
Right.
And that's when the value of it reduces.
You know, there's
That's crazy.
there's a term psychologically for that. I can't remember it off the top of my head. There's a term psychologically for instant gratification. The term shows what you value, either long-term gratification versus instant gratification. And maybe I can find it real quick. And I
All those kids, those children, right?
Yes. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I hate looking for something in the middle of class, but I think this is very important because this explains that responsible people actually get a kick out of long-term things that require long-term investment and the satisfaction that comes from completion.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's this.
Yeah.
This is connected.
Yeah, it is. Actually, it is. Yeah, it is. We're talking about that pleasure principle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Psychologically, yeah, it's that. But there is a difference in that.
Yeah.
Let me see if it shows. Read this right here.
All right. It says,
I know we talked about this. We had talked about this months ago.
cognitive capacity. Higher intelligence is linked to a more forward-thinking perspective.
It says higher intelligence is linked to what?
A more forward-thinking perspective.
Meaning, I'm not just doing things right now to get the instant feeling of fun, success, I'm happy. I don't value just an instant gratification. I value looking at things in the long range, how they turn out over time. I don't attach my feelings based upon do I got something right now or am I building, because I know right now this is only temporary. But if I build for the future, there's more value in long-term success. But I'll let him explain it. Go ahead.
Those who are born with innate intelligence have a tendency to see the benefits of delayed gratification.
There's benefits to delayed gratification. That means that if I attach myself to instant gratification, then it's mood related. It's mood based.
Yeah.
That means my mood will go up and down based upon my gratification.
Which is low intelligence.
Which is a sign of a child. I'll say a childish intelligence.
Yeah.
Because the Most High said we're babes, man.
Okay.
We're babes in Christ.
Okay.
So it is because you know what? I'm not gonna just give the white man credit as if his psychological terms is it takes precedence over what the Most High calls us. He calls us his children. And so we do act like children because the children they want the toy, they got the toy, made them happy, but the happiness is short lived. And when you train your mind to only receive short lived happiness and joy, then as soon as that thing is not new, as soon as you lose it, as soon as it's not there, then your mood will go down the tank. Because your mood is not attached to the instant feeling of happiness and joy, and I'm looking for that, because then after that it's not new. I'm looking for the next high. I'm looking for the next roller coaster. I'm trying to ride the next wave. And then I'm a surfer. You know what I'm saying? I become a surfer. But I'm an emotional surfer. I'm looking to ride the next wave to make me happy. And I've trained myself that way. If it's delayed gratification, then that means I've trained my mind to grind, put in work, dedicate, take initiative, suffer a little bit, and know at the end I'll be happy and I can benefit from that.
Makes sense.
Then my mood doesn't change as much. It's like a spoiled kid. You spoil a kid when they're young, what happens when they get older? They're no good when they get older. Because you've trained them that if I don't get what I want, I'm not happy. You train them that way. And I know there's a better way to explain this, but that's not the class. But the point is to show the mindset of King Jotham, to show his mind frame. He knew that if I take care of these things down the line, it'll benefit my people later. But we could deal with that subject. That's a great subject to go. We've been there on this topic before, but we can go back into that some other time. Let's go back to where we were and great scripture that you pulled right there too in Ecclesiastes. let's go back to paragraph 3.
Oh.
And we'll stop it at 2 o'clock. I think we're not going to get through everything that we want to go through, showing the beginning. This is still part of the beginning of the fall of the northern captivity. But I think we have to take a strong look at the mindset of these men that was involved with these situations. You know, what led them up to the fall, how they were so high and fell from grace. We got to look at this.
And how the deficit or the lack of these skill sets, these mind frames and skill sets, lead to a decline in the people. There's a decline because of what's missing. The product shows what's missing. When you buy a vehicle, you gotta sit here and they do a recall order. That means something was missing in the factory.
Yep.
Well, we want to blame the vehicle. This vehicle is not driving right.
Yep.
Well, the vehicle is a product of the factory. What was going on procedurally? What was lacking in procedure in the factory? That's what they had the crash dummy test. They had the. I used to hate myself, man. Why are you running that? That car's nice. Why are you crashing the car? Southwest Texas, right? Don't they have a research center in Southwest?
Yeah.
All I do
Southwest Texas Research Institute.
Southwest Texas Research Institute. All they do is crash vehicles. And I'm like, bro,
Or they purposely burn up alternators or starters. They test starters, alternators, and they test gasoline. They purposely burn these things up to do testing.
God, I be trying to talk to him like, hey man, can you just can you just hook it up? They're gonna crash anyway. Can you hook it up? I'm gonna have that conversation. And he's like, no man, we have to crash these so many times to make sure people are safe. I'm like, man, they're gonna do a good job. Why are you tripping this? It's a Benz. It's a Benz. It's a this kind of truck. It's this different brand. Why would it be a problem? But you look up when they miss one little piece. Remember all the rollovers in the late '90s, early 2000s?
Yeah.
All those rollovers, especially Ford.
Jeeps, Suzuki sidekicks, and Jeeps was rolling over constantly.
But every time we drove down the street, bro, you look and you just see one of those 4x4s. Everybody wanted the vehicle. But every day, every morning, you would look, you would see the side of the street, you would see a vehicle roll up. Like, what did they do? But what was it connected to? It was connected to
poor design.
Poor design, neglect, not being thorough in procedure, not caring enough. Of course, it's driver error too. It's the combination of driver error and the factory, the management that caused the issue.
Yep.
Just relating to the topic of why things go awry.
That's why foreign makes tend to blow away.
That's how much we care.
Yeah, it's true.
That's how much we care.
It's true. Read on. That's facts.
Okay. Paragraph 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Page 262, paragraph 3, line 239. Now there was at that time a prophet whose name was Nahum.
All right, so he said at that time there was a prophet whose name was who?
Nahum.
Go ahead.
Who spake after this manner concerning the overthrow of the Assyrians in Nineveh. Nineveh shall be a pool of water in motion, so shall all her people be troubled, and tossed and go away by flight.
So he's Nahum is prophesying about the downfall of Assyria during the time of King Jotham's reign. Read on.
While they say one to another, stand still, seize their gold and silver, for there should be no one to wish them well, for they would rather save their lives than their money.
He said they'd rather save their lives than what?
Than their money.
He said the Most High is going to make Nineveh. Nineveh is the capital city of who? What does Nineveh? What does Nineveh represent? Nineveh is the capital city of Assyria. Yeah. So when he's talking about Nineveh, he's talking about the citadel, the headquarters of Nineveh. He's talking about Assyria is going to fall. The Most High is going to trouble them. Read on.
For there should be no one to wish them well, for they would rather save their lives than their money. For a terrible contention shall possess them, one with another.
The Most High was going to cause a hate for one another, a strife, a debate with one another, just like you got Democrats and Republicans right now going at each other.
Intensifying.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And lamentation, and losing of the members, and their countenances shall be perfectly black with fear.
Read on.
And there will be the den of lions, and the mother of the young lions. The Most High says to thee, Nineveh, that they shall deface thee, and the lion shall no longer go out from thee to give laws to the world.
Go ahead.
And indeed, this prophet prophesied many other things.
It says, and the lion shall no longer go out from thee to give laws to the what?
To the world.
To the world. So it shows you that Assyria had an influence over other nations. Now, why would the Most High use the lion as in reference to Nineveh or Assyria?
It represents the power and the might of the execution of their government. Like they put other people in fear. They had other people in fear.
Dominance.
True.
Dominance.
Also, but when you understand Assyrian culture, their insignia and their sign was a griffin. It was a lion with eagle's wings.
Okay.
So he was pinpointing how they looked at themselves. Their national symbol was a lion with eagle's wings. That was the national symbol of Assyria. So he's using this reference of this symbolically to show that their pride, that they can conquer, devour everywhere they go, that they're unstoppable. We know that a lion is known for his courage, his fierceness, his power, but to put wings on it means what?
It has no boundaries.
I'm always conquering. Everywhere I go, I conquer. So this national insignia, the Most High is using this in reference to show that because you got this pride about you, this is how you look at yourself, I'm actually going to destroy your ability to conquer. You're going to dissolve from the inside. Just like who? Just like America. You got this national symbol, which is a what?
Eagle.
You're the top predator. You see from above. Nobody flies or perches higher than you. You're the apex predator. Nobody can top you. There's no more dominant thing that flies above the eagle. He's the top tier predator of the skies, overseeing everybody else. But the Most High is doing the same thing. You're going to melt from where?
Inside.
You melt from the inside.
What's interesting too is because they're like the all-seeing eye, right? Like the eagle.
Mm-hmm.
But the internal breakdown is also their secret service,
their intelligence,
confidentiality, intelligence. It's leaks. It's always breaches.
Yeah, data breaches, leaks.
That's crazy.
You got your Edward Snowdens. You got the most recent guy, the National Guard guy. Yeah, the little kid, 18-year-old kid that just leaked a lot of footage on a gaming platform, showing what America's really doing overseas, what they're doing in Ukraine, confidential information. Like you said, they went and arrested him. Homeland Security went and scooped that little kid up. All these Homeland Security leaks. They went and scooped him up with the SWAT team. But you know what? It's showing you that they melted from where? From the inside. So it's the same thing today. But this is why he's using that. The Most High here at this time in Assyria is showing you how they look at themselves. But the Most High is going to cause the spirit of corrosion to come from within. Read on.
They shall deface thee, and the lion shall no longer go out from thee to give laws to the world.
So what is, in our case now, being the eagle, what is the eagle trying to do to Africa? To Uganda? What are we doing now to Uganda, Ethiopia, and
raping their resources?
No, not just that. We're telling them that they have to accept certain laws.
Right.
They have to accept certain transgender laws.
Forcing westernization.
Oh, it's westernization.
Democracy.
Supposed democracy. Pushing the fact that you have to accept these things, these policies in your culture. And they're saying, we have our culture. In Kenya, Uganda, Nigeria, they say we got our, Zimbabwe, we got our culture. We have our laws. We have our rules. We have our constitution.
We've been doing just fine.
Yeah, we don't need you to come and impose your constitution and your lifestyle. We have more pressing agendas like food and water and infrastructure than we do about sexual preference. But this is what we see in Assyria. We see the same thing now. Read on.
Yeah. And indeed, this prophet prophesied many other things besides these concerning Nineveh. which I do not think necessary to repeat.
So go ahead.
And I here omit them, that I may not appear troublesome to my readers.
He said, I'm not going to go into detail. So this is Josephus said, I'm going to decline after this point. It's a lot more that he could say. He could discuss it historically, but he's going to decline. So we're going to pick it up in the book of Nahum. We're going to read Nahum chapter 2, verse 8 through 13. And we'll finish class from there. And just call it. I think that's enough for today. Unless y'all want to keep going. You want to keep going?
Please.
I mean,
because it's going to get into
only the subject changes. Because it might not go down the same vein of subject.
No, it's not.
That's the problem. If it changes subject, we got to the goal is not to waste subjects. The goal is to get the full understanding of all subjects. We can just come over topics and just topic ride. We just ride topics.
Yeah, take
but if you're not digesting it completely, or it's not being able to acclimate into your understanding, then we're really just entertaining ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm down if it's going to keep going in the same vein.
No, it's not. It's not. It's going to change. So I think we'll read this and finish it up with this right here, because it's going to change. It's going to go faster and more historical, and the transition's about to happen and within the kingdom, because we're reading about the good of Jotham, but then we're also about to go and see what he did wrong, and then his son after him, and then his son after him. So it's about to go downhill from this point. You know what I'm saying? On the southern kingdom side and on the northern kingdom side. Go ahead. Let's read that. Nahum chapter 2. Let's start at verse 8.
Nahum chapter 2, verse 8.
Pretty much same thing we just read in Josephus. Go ahead.
But Nineveh is of old, like a pool of water, yet they shall flee away. Stand, stand, shall they cry, but none shall look back. Take ye the spoil of silver, take the spoil of gold, for there is none end of the store and glory out of all the pleasant furniture.
Now,
what does that mean?
Well, I'm gonna say this. We gotta
There's resources bountiful.
Yeah, you know, we might have to go, because something was done. I'll just say this. We'll preface it with this and pick it up. Just remember that Assyria had good furniture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just remember, Assyria was known for making quality furniture, just like North Carolina is known for making good furniture.
Like costly, right?
Costly, good quality. They make good furniture. Let's just, we're gonna show how that played a role amongst the kings of Israel later, but it would take about 2 more hours to get to that point. So I don't want to go down that road just yet until we actually start reading that, which we'll hold that. Read on.
Verse 10. She is empty and void and waste, and the heart melteth, and the knees smite together.
So the Most High took the strength away and the courage away from the nation of Assyria. Read on.
And much pain is in all loins, and the faces of them all gather blackness.
All right. So the Most High. This is Nahum prophesying the fall of Assyria, and after that prophecy, Nineveh fell, or Assyria fell. The kingdom of Assyria fell 115 years after that prophecy. So it was 150 years before that prophecy actually took place. So he gave Assyria a little bit of a run.
And that's nothing to the Most High on his timeline.
That ain't nothing.
But to us, it's like, he forgot about us.
Exactly.
You said 115 or
yeah, 150. 100. You dropped something.
150.
115.
15.
Yes, 115 years after that prophecy of Nahum, Assyria fell. All right.
Okay.
But we'll pick up. Just don't forget, Assyria had good furniture.
Okay.
All right. But we'll pick up this next Sabbath. So we want to say Shabbat Shalom for everybody that watched, that came with us online and saw us online, or that may watch this later on. We'll pick up next week. And the water for everybody watching in class. We'll be back also on Monday for another class on Monday. All right. And we'll be back on our regular schedule. All right. So I want to say Shalom and the water for watching.
Shalom.
Let's just set up our prayers real quick. Yeah. Majum, upon the walk of done, rise and face the east. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
Yahweh.
Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Please listen to us right now. Send Mike Allah. And the righteous angel. To watch over. To bless. To heal. Protect. And make strong. The people of Yahshua. Also send unto us. Much wisdom. Much knowledge. Much understanding. Much patience. Much faith. Much brotherhood. And much love. Spiritual power. And forgive all of our sins. Yahweh Shai. Come quickly. For in thee is our hope. Always. And forever. Amen. Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the law.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the light to see.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai.
Bless you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the ram's horn to call the people.
Barakatah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Shemam Zayah Lamashak Yasha'Allah.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the olive oil to anoint Israel.
All right, Psalms 92. It is a good thing to give thanks to the Lord.
It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord.
And to sing praises unto thy name.
And sing praises unto thy name.
O Yahweh. To show forth thy loving kindness. In the morning. And thy faithfulness every night. Upon an instrument of 10 strings. And upon the psaltery. Upon the harp. Of the solemn sound. For thou, Yahweh, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. O Yahweh, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth the fool understand it. When the wicked springeth the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Yahweh, art most high forevermore. Below thine enemies, O Yahweh, below thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt, like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eye also shall see. My desire on mine enemies. And mine ears shall hear. My desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of Yahweh shall flourish in the courts of our power. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing. To show that the Lord is upright. He is my rock. And there is no unrighteousness in him. Psalms 133. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Shayar, Hama'ayawa, Ladawai, Hana, Ma, Tawab, Wama, Na'ayom, Shabbat, Akim, Gam, Yachaz, Kashaman, Hatawab, Ayel, Hara'at, Yurad, Ayel, Hazakwan, Aharan, Shayarad, Ayel, Payah, Harawathyawa, Katol, Karamwan, Shayarad, Ayel, Hararia, Tazawan, Kaya, Sham, Tazawan, Yahweh, Ath,
Habaraka. Kayayim. Ain. Hawalam.
Aman. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Aman.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Rakanawa, Washala, Wahabiyah, Saporium. 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 Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahushai, Wadi Yahweh, Wadi Yahushai, Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahushai, Wadi Yahweh, Wadi Yahushai, Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahushai, Wadi Yahweh, Wadi Yahushai, all love, all mercy, all truth, all wisdom, all knowledge, all understanding, all power from Yahweh, all power from Yahweh. All power from Yahweh. In Yahushua's name we pray. The water, Damyad, Aman. Men circle up, sisters have a seat. All the young ones in the back. All the boys get the boys.
Boys, come on.
Come on. All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Saluting out in the heavenly order. Yahweh, Yahushai, SHALAM. Men of Israel, Muslim, Baruch,
Yashabata, turn to face sisters. Men of modern Shabbat.
Saluting out the daughters of Zion, men of Israel, Muslim, Baruch,
Yashabata, dismiss, fall out. Shalom, shalom, shalom. The water for watching. Be back next week.
Yep.